Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show is live on your YouTube machine on Wednesday, October 1st. It is October 1st. It's a Wednesday, so of course the Cubs are losing to the Padres because, why would we ever want to have nice things in a sporting life? Oak State James got caught using a burner account again. It's just the normal things that happen on the show. And the real stadium guy, James, says, I have a group at 4 o'clock. Be back soon. P.S. The logo looks fantastic.
Oh, okay. Got to go charting already, huh? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Everybody is like, it's amazing. It's so amazing to me that every day on this show, the fake Oak State James, I don't know who I am. The real Oak State James, that's just wrong. Someone's pretending to be me. Bro, are you not on your lithium today? Like
creatine.
What? Are you not on your creatine? I think my subscription is current. I've heard that about you. Chewy, I am a member. No, turns out you're not. Turns out you're not.
Let me tell you what not.
It is wild to me. It is wild to me that you get caught on a daily basis using a burner. Here's this other burner, Dana Marie, from a 7 MF, I'm at least a 7.5. Okay. Happy hump day, fellas. And by hump, I mean hump. Okay.
Okay.
Hit that like button like Dylan Gabriel hit that starting job. Okay. So this is the kind of show that we've decided we want to have today, right? This is, maybe I should just, again, I'm going to espouse, say, don't advertise on the show. Liquid Death is the best water in the business.
Did you buy a 12er from the store?
Yeah, for like $37 for an 8-pack. Yeah, I did. Today's one of those days where I should have never got out of bed. I should have never got out of bed
what's
today.
So bad about today? What's so bad about
the Cubs are playing?
Well,
other than that, it's been a pretty good day.
Yeah, I mean, just great at bats, great pitching. You're down 3-0. What's there to be upset
Typical
about?
Chicago Cubs baseball.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know why I'm surprised. We opened the show talking about this yesterday, and it's like, I don't know. Big Ten announces $2 billion in private equity. No, I don't think that happened. I actually don't think that's in a grant of right. No, that didn't happen either. I'm not sure where you're getting that from. I would advise you to probably check your sources because we've talked about this in the story. They didn't announce it. And by the way, Eric's been a member for 21 months. Trump derangement syndrome pays well, baby. You gonna play the sound?
Am I still supposed to play the sound for him after he says dumb things? Or my bad. Sorry.
Cody Hansen says, "Yeah, it did. Pete Thamel announced it." Okay. Now I'm just gonna pull the receipts because they have. You guys, let me just go ahead.
I don't not matter anymore, bro. Like, do the words that we use not matter anymore?
I am telling you, it is not done. And you know what I can do here? I can use Eric's own words against him. Fake news. It's fake news, bro. You're fake news. You're fake news. You're fake news, bro. You're fake news. Hey, look, Michigan hasn't signed on to the agreement yet. Don't know how the whole Big Ten can have an agreement and a new grant of rights when Ohio State and Michigan have
sign,
not
steal, or
signed
you.
on. Like what? Like do you guys like do you?
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it did. Pete Thames announced it. I don't even know who Pete Thames is.
Is that another Oak State James burner, or who's that? Who's Pete Thames?
It is wild to me that how many people just are like, yeah, they did. Monty knee pads when it's a Big 12, but bashes when it's a Big 10. Who said I'm bashing it?
Dude, you're out here literally fabricating a story and you're saying we're bashing? Dude, it says they're in discussion.
Michigan hasn't agreed to it because part of it is, according to sources, according to sources in the TV industry, who we're texting with earlier on this story, part of the deal is it would require all schools to forego opportunities in private equity for the Big Ten. So the Big Ten private equity deal would preclude the Ohio State and Michigan from doing their own private equity deals, which is problematic because they're worth more than the league is worth. So again, this goes back to the politics and the issues in the conference, because you're in a position here where you're in a conference that's 2-3 teams deep, and you may have 4, maybe 5 brands, but how many brands in this league can truly draw an equity deal? Well, I would think Michigan, Ohio State, USC, and Oregon. I don't. My guess is knuckle deep boys aren't even trying for a private equity deal. That'd be my guess.
Washington?
No, I don't think Washington. No, I don't think so. The tax situation in Washington State would make that very difficult. I think it would be quite costly. So I think that's, but it just goes through. You have to go through this process. And the bigger issue here is exactly what we talked about in detail last week. The Big Ten is trying to do something on their own because I think they see that the system that is coming together that would have it be 16 teams in a playoff would really limit their exposure to the highest levels of revenue. And I think one of the things that they are coming to really hard terms with is they don't have a lot of brand power in the Big Ten. And it's a very top-heavy league. And as pretty much every league but the SEC is, right? You look at the Big 12. The Big 12 doesn't have a brand. The ACC's got a couple of brands. But you look at the Big Ten, the biggest issue is Ohio State is the absolute revenue-generating behemoth in that league. There's no question about that. But you look at Oregon. Oregon's brand is probably second in that league because of their relationship with Phil Knight and Nike, which they would have to essentially give up to do this private equity deal with the Big Ten. I think it's going to be tough to get all the ducks in alignment. I'm not saying you can't, but I think this is a long way from being done. And I think when you're looking at the proposal that's on the table in front of Big Ten presidents, I think it's going to be very difficult to get a lot of the top names in this league to sign on. I think it's a very dangerous proposition for them to sign on to this deal.
Yeah, I just don't know why they would limit themselves. That's the hard part. Like, yeah, it's $2 billion. Theoretically, it's good for the brand overall of the conference. But yeah, you're right. I mean, one of the biggest problems you have is these individual brands are bigger and more valuable than the conference itself. So why would they limit themselves? Yeah.
I also think the grant of rights is a very interesting part of this because, and I would just tell you, keep focusing on where the Big Ten relationally is to the rest of college football, because as I continue to tell you, Greg Sankey and Brett Yormark are working together. They are in lockstep. I think Jim Phillips is going to go largely where the current takes him, right? Like I think he's going to fall in line. If the Big Ten signs a grant of rights through 2046, I think it's going to make it very difficult for the what's the right way? The reformation of TV rights in college football, which they are very diligently working on in Washington. I mean, not because the government shut down, but they're working diligently to find a way to reform the way television is done, specifically at the college level, but I think it's going to be in general in pro sports. And I just don't know that signing a grant of rights through 2046 is the most pertinent. Should it be a high on the priority list? I don't know that it's the most intelligent move to make at this point. I think this deal is really putting the cart ahead of the horse in a big way. And I mean a mile down the road.
Yeah,
the cart is a mile down the road.
I don't understand why, if you are the bigger brands in the Big Ten, why you'd agree to a grant of rights through 2046. I mean, that's miles down the road, number one. I understand, from the private equity side, why they want a long-term grant of rights. Obviously, that makes sense. But I think that, the issue comes in when you start talking about like the new entity and like how all of this plays inside of that structure and like what, how are the biggest brands in college football limited from a business standpoint with deals like this? And so I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I just think it would be short-sighted for brands like Ohio State and even Michigan, USC, Oregon, your biggest brands who are national championship contenders regularly to limit themselves, because again, they're not.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, like they're not in this place where they're struggling for money. Like obviously it's always good to make more. Nobody's going to say no to making more, but I think that there's a big difference between making more money in an open market, fashion versus, hey, we signed a private equity deal that's only worth $2 billion. And I know that sounds outlandish. Hey, it's only worth $2 billion. But if you think about that and you kind of, spread the wealth across the conference over a 10-year period, that's really not that much money when you consider the money that these programs are already making at the top of the conference. So that's where I say, like, now we got to have the conversation of unequal revenue sharing and, hey, like, how much should they get versus how much should Rando and the Big Ten get? Like, I just think that of course Rando's school at the bottom of the Big Ten is going to be in favor of this. And of course, Ohio State and Michigan and several others are not going to be in favor of this.
Well, I can tell you, interesting note, texting with one of the guys I talk to regularly about this stuff on the TV side. He makes a really interesting point that what they're hearing at the network level is that this is the model that the Big Ten or that the Big 12 is already using, where you would create a business entity inside of the Big Ten, which is exactly what the Big 12 did. The Big 12 created a new business entity, that they're calling a commercial division, which is its own business. It is outside of Big 12 football. It is outside of all of that. Its whole function is to operate the business of revenue generation inside the Big 12. That's in place. That is apparently exactly what's being talked about with the Big Ten. They would create a new entity that would basically be the bank and the commercial division revenue generator for the Big Ten. So again, here we are having another discussion about, and what did Eric say? I'm knee padding. I'm knee padding. The Big 12 creating, the mold that now it looks like a lot of people are going to use. And it's because this is the mold that Brett Yormark brought from the entertainment industry, which is what everybody uses. So I don't think this is surprising. I don't think this is unique. I think it's exactly what the Big Ten ought to be doing. Now, do I agree with a grant of rights through 2046? That's never worked out well. That has never worked out well.
See the ACC.
and see the Big 12 and see the Pac-12. And I mean, you've got to get the two things that I think we all understand. When you sign a super long grant of rights or too short grant of rights, bad things happen. And I think we are absolutely seeing that. I also don't believe that we have enough information to know exactly what they're doing in the Big Ten. And I think the hardest part of this for the Big Ten is, and again, you can call me a red ass, whatever it is you want to say. I think the people pushing this are the lower level schools in this league. It is unquestionably the Minnesotas, the Rutgers, the small schools who don't win on the football field, that don't generate a lot of revenue. Those are the universities and the presidents pushing this type of initiative forward, because I think they know that if they don't get guaranteed money locked in going into the future, they're going to be in real financial straits.
Absolutely.
And I know, again, this is not popular and people don't want to talk about it. You eliminated the Department of Education, and you look at like with this government shutdown. Do you guys understand how much damage a government shutdown does to the education ecosystem in this country? And then on top of that, you eliminated the Department of Education. These schools are quite literally playing in the wild, wild west, fending for themselves. And you start understanding that people like Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, those are the ones that are really going to struggle. They don't have UCLA's Jordan Brand deal. They don't have the money from Hollywood in the entertainment industry that gets pumped into USC. They don't have Phil Knight. They don't have Nike money. They don't have, Ohio State, which is, I mean, quite literally a printing press for athletic revenue. They don't have that. And I think that's the bigger issue in the Big Ten. And I think everybody always defaults to, well, Monty, bigger's better. Bigger's not better. And I'm going to continue to say this when people talk about putting together 24, 30 team super leagues. And do you understand how hard it is to survive that financially? Because when you're talking about UConn's a great example. Well, Monty, it makes perfect sense. They have UConn join the Big 12 in basketball. Right, but UConn's not going to join the Big 12 in basketball because what do they know? As soon as they join the Big 12 in basketball and they don't include football, football's going to die in the vine because they can't make any money. You look at Memphis, another really good example of this. Why did Memphis not lock, stock, and barrel join the Pac-12, which was going to be a great situation? Because there's no financial pot of gold at the end of the road.
Grass isn't greener.
No, not at all. And I think that's a huge problem for the Big Ten, that if you just keep going and you wind up, falling in line with the SEC, or you wind up doing business the way the SEC is doing business, you actually have to do business the way they do business, which is raise the bar. Don't allow cock on thigh to play Jimmy Smith electrical pipe fitter university football team every week, right? Like, you actually have to play games. You actually have to make sure that while the tide is rising, because this is truly one of the best analogies that an athletic director said to me. A Mountain West athletic director said to me last week, it's cool that all the tide in this conference is rising. My biggest concern is how many universities have a hole in their boat. So it's great the tide's rising, but all that's doing is sinking their ship. And that is just the greatest analogy I've ever heard from an athletic administrator. Like, it's cool. The Mountain West is making more money. The Big 12 is making more money. The SEC, the Big 10. But in the Big 10, if Minnesota can't afford to compete, what good is making all the money? They can't afford to compete on the football field. They don't want to pay because, again, I asked, I'll tell you my sources at UNLV. I was talking to a guy the other day, and I said, how much money is it going to take for you guys to compete year in and year out to be the best G5 program? And lo and behold, what number do you think he threw out at me? Well, Monty, it's about $500 million. $500 million at the G5 level to compete for a spot in the college football playoff. That's a guy at UNLV telling me that. How much do you think they're spending at the P4 level? If UNLV is looking at spending $500 million on football, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably more than that. And the real advantage that UNLV has is they don't have to build a stadium. They have a Legion, which is a huge part of that $500 million expense. So you look at the way that the money is being worked, and if you're the bottom half of this league and you're not winning games and you're not revenue generating, this deal makes all the sense in the world. But if you're Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, USC, the biggest brands in the Big Ten, this deal does not make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
doesn't make a lot of sense.
Couldn't agree more.
Because I truly think if you do this deal the way that we're hearing this deal could be, who's a West Virginia, a Vatech, a Virginia, a Pitt, a Syracuse. How are those people going to compete at a $500 million level, let alone more than that?
Yeah, they just got to get that donor money, Monty.
You got to go out and get private equity money. You got and again, I know everybody says, well, Monty, look how loose your throat is after you left Yormark's place last night. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. He's also got a naming deal for their championships. He's also playing games in London. He's all, like, do you think they're doing this stuff because it's cheap to compete in athletics? Dude, it's only getting more expensive and the subsidies are going away. How do you fix the federal subsidies going away? Oh, that's right. You work with Greg Sankey and Brett Yormark and Donald Trump and Speaker Johnson to get the SCORE Act done. And you create a new entity that all these college football teams operate inside of. Not one that the Big Ten's working on. And if you're a Big Ten fan, I think this is the single biggest question. How does doing a deal like this that's being talked about by ESPN, how does a deal like this alienate you from the rest of the P4 level? And I think it is substantial. And remember, who's been telling you that there is a chasm forming, a sinkhole forming with the Big Ten on one side and Greg Sankey and the rest of college football on the other?
Bruh.
I've been telling you that for a month, 6 weeks now. And it's deals like this that continue to widen that gap. Because remember, what else has the Big Ten been talking about? 2014 playoffs. And, well, why do they want a 2014 playoff? Well, because they know that Minnesota and Rutgers and, again, the Purdones of the world are not going to compete, and they got to get as many teams as they can get in. They want 2014 total, and the Big Ten gets like 23 of those teams in, and maybe we'll let Alabama get in once in a while.
Maybe we'll let Texas get in. You know, it depends on the year, Monty.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think is a big issue. And I think when you hear details, and I know that Wasikowski and his Monty derangement syndrome is setting in strong today. See, but Monty
derangement syndrome. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, the point is, this is why Ohio State and Michigan haven't signed on. This is why you're starting to see these bigger brands don't need to subsidize the rest of the league, which is why the Super League concept is so attractive to the biggest brands in college sports.
Absolutely.
And I think it's why Texas and Oklahoma aren't in this league anymore. It's why SC and UCLA aren't in the Pac-12 anymore, because they don't want to subsidize. And apparently they sent the authorities to come and get Monty because I'm giving out too many facts. Can you guys hear that? There is like an army.
That's awesome, bro.
Authorities.
Monty, ICE is coming for you, bro.
Hone in on his voice. I need to triangulate his masculinity quickly.
Bro.
Oh, bro, there is a heap of police.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Dude, there are.
Yeah, who swatted Monty? Thank you, Chewy. That's a great question, bro.
Chicago PD is happening out on the street in Seattle.
Yeah, my guy this morning at what was it, like 5 something? You're like, bro, it's Chicago Wednesday. Get hyped. I was like, dude, let's go.
Right? God, Liquid Death is so good, you guys. I'm telling you, Liquid Death is the stuff, bro. I'm broke now because I drink Liquid Death, but it's the stuff. Dude, what is going on out there?
Catch me outside. How about
Okay,
that?
hang on. Let's go check the death rate. You guys think this is the National Guard showing up in Seattle?
I think it's SWAT. It's probably SWAT. It's probably, it's probably SWAT. It's probably ICE. It's probably,
There's some motherfuckers going on out here, man.
the government shut down. So, we've got it's going hard out there right now,
Yeah, I don't.
Go hard.
I'm telling you, I love living in a big city.
Let me verbalize this correctly. As our great Secretary of War decided to spew out the other day, FAFO, okay? That's what's happening outside.
Yeah, dude. Monty, take the camera and show us. I don't have a way to do that. I don't have I guess I can't even roll up the wall. Ice not going for Monty. Monty Mick White Catholic Mormon is not on the ice.
Well played.
Talk about privilege. I am not on the ICE most wanted list. No, they're in a building across the street that houses it's like a bank and those work for a day office spaces where you can.
Yes.
There's a Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is 2 blocks away. Citibank across the street.
WeWork.
Excuse me. Let me rephrase. There's a Chase Bank across the street. A WeWork. Thank you.
WeWork.
A WeWork. There's a Chase Bank and a WeWork across the street. That's where they're at. But, Chewy says Seattle is known for squatters and meth heads. Well, I'll tell you, not to get too far away from the Monty derangement syndrome, but there's a lot of there's some dudes you don't want to meet in the middle of the night on the street, right? And I live right by Pike Marketplace, so this place that I'm temporarily staying in, which also sucks. Being in a so when you're staying somewhere for 2 weeks, in this case, do you take your clothes out of the suitcase, or are you just living out of the suitcase?
Living out of the suitcase.
Nah, dude, I totally unpacked. Me and the wife totally unpacked, and it makes it better. But it is craziness. I walked out. I took my dog for a walk at 4:30 this morning, and they're just some dudes that are doing the bent over lean walk, and you're like, man.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Yeah, my dog loves it though. My dog loves the city. He almost got a pigeon today, so that was fun. Fat leadership syndrome could be. Gotta carry your gat. Nah, I'm fine. It's good. Fat, yeah, exactly. Pike Place market is so overrated. No, dude, the seafood at Pike Place is, and I'm not even a huge seafood guy. I had a bowl of chowder last night. I feel like every bowl of chowder I've had in this city, and I've probably had far too many hundreds of bowls of chowder. Every bowl of chowder I have gets better. It's incredible. By the way, the Cubs are about to lose 3-0. It's top of the 8th. It's over. Pike Marketplace is pretty cool, I must say. I love it. I love the thing that I like about living in the city is that you routinely get just an absolute integration of humanity. And yeah, you do see some homeless folks, but you also see young people. I got the microchip injected in my arm yesterday. And you want to know the wildest place in this entire town? Target. There's a Target down. Yeah, there's a Target down the street from where I'm staying. That's a whole scene, bro.
Everybody gets a test.
Bro, you ain't even kidding, Donnie. Like the CVS, the Walgreens. Oh, there's a Walgreens right by where I'm at. The Walgreens, 45-minute pharmacy wait. Nah, I'm fine. Like, it's crazy. That Target is just. I hate Target to begin with. I'll be honest with you. I think it is. If you shop at Target, just like you're awful. You're a bad person. That's not true. I just hate Target. I think everything at Target is overpriced. And is that what it's called? The lean? Is that what that walk from the folks who are on some? Thank you for texting me and making me read it on the show.
Yes, the lean is a reference to a certain side effect of a certain substance.
It's terrifying to see it. It is not good. Vibrator Jim says we have the meats. I've heard that about you. Go check out and have a laugh at Club Comedy Seattle. It's a boutique kind of place, usually has decent talent. I might do that. Chris Faithful, everything behind lock and key. Actually, it's not. You know why in Target everything's not behind lock and key, or at least the one in downtown Seattle? There are cops and security everywhere. Like it is. There's one that's not far from Pike Place, and that place is just always crawling with cops. Joey B. Monty playing the plastic bucket drum set at the base of the Space Needle. I can see that with this driving gloves. Hey, man, but I love living in the city. When I was stationed in Louisiana, way too many restaurants with catfish in the title, dude.
Catfish Mike's.
I love fresh food. Now that I've stopped eating like manufacturer prefabricated food and you eat like real whole food, you get a good piece of fish and it actually tastes like Karen Johnson. Like it probably came out wrong. It's nice and fresh. The chowder here is unbelievable. It is amazing. Mark's Styles Adventures. Monty, maybe you should come stay within the Fresno, California, next around Fresno Clovis. I actually spent a lot of time in Reedley, California. Did a nickel up in Reedley, not like in Seattle International District best food. Oh, really? I'll check that out. Thank you. Jake, how cold is it in Eugene? Turtleneck sweater? Yeah, what are you wearing today?
Let's see. What do we got today? Yeah, high is only 65 and currently it's 58. So,
okay.
A little chilly.
It is beautiful and sunny in Seattle today. Toot says, I'm visiting Chicago. The weather is fantastic. 75 and sunny. Cubs need to quit messing up this perfect day, dude. You got Dylan Cease out of the game in the fifth, and you have done nothing since. And the thing that's frustrating about the Cubs is this offense just goes to sleep, and you just don't have any way to explain it. And today I felt like they hit a couple of balls, and on most other days or in most other parks are probably in the seats.
Yeah.
Lazy fly balls. And it's a bummer. But it is what it is. And that's what it is. Lean over walk. That's fent bent. Yeah. We can joke. It's not actually that funny. It's tough to watch. So anyway, all right. If you're just tuning in, yes, the Big Ten is working on support. I should say the Big Ten is trying to get a private equity deal done that would inject billions of dollars into the league, its schools, and its athletic departments. It is not done. It doesn't feel like it's close. It does not feel like it's close. And part of that deal would be extending their grant of rights through 2046. That's the one that's interesting to me. We'll see how that plays out and what that looks like. Jake, overall, are you in favor of private equity deals in college sports?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of them, but the setup is just, that's the crucial part. I mean, I just think, these conferences are in such different places, and I think that it gets really murky when, like, this Big Ten example, but apply it to any conference you want. I mean, it just gets really murky when you've got brands that are different values, and some compete and some don't. And again, it is the beast of college football. There are just so many schools that are involved. It's hard to do these larger scale deals. You have to figure out something that kind of works for everyone involved, and a lot of the time that's difficult to do. So, I mean, I'm sure that they will come up with something. I'm sure that there will be a way to accommodate those who are not currently comfortable with the deal on the table. But needless to say, I just think you have to be careful when you're dealing with private equity, because private equity is only in this to make money. So, if that's why
the only reason they give money is to
make money. And that's why you're not doing deal at the school level, right? That's why they want to do it at a conference level, because the Big Ten as a conference is going to continue to grow. And so their valuation and their investment is going to continue to grow. And so, but that's what's hard is, like, if Ohio State doesn't necessarily need to agree to terms because they're doing really well, like, that's where you get into trouble. And that's why I say, like, I've always been an advocate that private equity works better at the G5 level, because there's less of that dynamic. There are more schools at the G5 level who could band together as a conference, to really benefit from a private equity deal versus at the power level. And I think that's what's hard to deal with. And again, I still maintain, if you're the Big Ten, like, there's got to be some credence towards, like, hey, we got to make sure we don't mess up the opportunity with the Super League / new entity situation. Because if you do a private equity deal that has a grant of rights attached to it for a gazillion years, how does that only makes things clunkier with the new entity, because all those deals are going to need to get massaged and rewritten. So I don't know. I'm not confident that it makes sense for the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get it done. I think that's the biggest question. Can they get this deal done? I think it's very interesting. The Buffalo Hunter, who's been a member for 22 months. Let's go. Appreciate you. Is Jake, if Jake is duck season, is Marty actually UW fan Tim? It could be. It could be.
A fair question.
Chewy Gonzalez, Blake Snell was a monster yesterday. 9 Ks. Stop. Bro.
Why are you making those kind of jokes?
Maury, it's 84 in Tampa. Okay. Maury, the great educator Alvarez. Maury, good to see you. Now is a great time to be in Florida. 80-degree, great day to be out. Absolutely.
Yeah, outside all those hurricanes that are lining up.
Well, hopefully it never happens. You really dodged a big storm this first one around. So hopefully that continues. By the way, Cubs are now in the bottom of the 8th. Nobody out, nobody on. Dansby Swanson. So we're 8-9-1 in the lineup for the Cubs. We'll keep you updated on that game. The Guardians blew out the Tigers today to even that series at 1. TJ Beck, this deal sounds strangely like the deal the ACC has. Big money up front, turns out not to be enough later. It's never enough later. And I think this deal, how do you thrive if you're Ohio State and you sign this deal? And what I think is so interesting is, oh, well, Monty, that sounds like socialism to me. It's exactly what it is. Is it not socialism? Is it not, hey, we're going to give money to the poor and the rich are going to push it down the pipeline? Because that's what's going on in the Big Ten. I don't even know how you argue that, right? It is really interesting to me. And we've heard this time and time again. And I feel like we talk about this a lot with the Big Ten. When you're as big as the Big Ten is, and you are as top heavy as the Big Ten is, how do you work that out? How do you, I don't know. I really don't know. Because what are you, 18 teams? I think the way that the Big Ten is built, that's your strength right now. Because you're seeing that you're getting 2-3 teams in every year. Now, whatever Epstein Island does and gets blown out and embarrasses the league in the playoff, okay, but Ohio State goes to the national championship through the hardest route we've ever seen. That's impressive. And I think at some point, the hard part is, how do you tell the lesser earning universities in this league that you're going to say no to an immediate cash infusion? Because that's what this amounts to. If you do this deal, 18 teams are going to, or 18 universities are going to get a significant check. But is that, to TJ's point, is that what's best for this league? And I don't know if it is. I just,
it's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. I more money is always better, but again, I think the question of, like I would need to know the specifics around how the private equity firms get paid back. So like, but like, is it, hey, we're going to do year-over-year valuation, and private equity simply needs to see that their initial investment grew, because if their initial investment grows, they can borrow against that and they can make money off of that in other ways. If that's the case, then I'm fine with that, right? I'm fine with a setup that doesn't include, hey, you got to pay us, 10% every year on a certain date, or whatever it might be, because there's a million different ways to do these deals with private equity. So I just think that the thing that makes me nervous is we haven't really seen Tony Petitti, do a deal on this scale that has this much, impact positively or negatively. Because if you do a bad deal here, that could have huge negative impact. Now, obviously, it's not just on him. Everyone's got to prove it. Okay, totally get it. But you'll notice that you don't really hear deals coming out of the SEC where Alabama and Georgia are against it or standing in the way. All you ever hear is, hey, SEC did this, SEC did that. Like, you just hear, hey, they approved this. So I just think that we're not only seeing the Big Ten trying to make more money, but we're also seeing the quality of their business dealings as a conference. And I do think there is something to, like, hey, Ohio State and Michigan are literally standing in the way of this because they don't like something that's in this. And
as they should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, as they should be. And I think it is multiple items, in my opinion. It's everything from, like, if I'm Ohio State, why do I care if a lower end school in the Big Ten is getting this infusion of cash? I care about Ohio State. I care about making the most money for us. And that's it. Like, because again, if you're Ohio State, what value is the Big Ten bringing you? Okay, the TV deal. But outside of that, you're driving the value in the Big Ten. You're the one doing that. So I don't know, man. I think it's complicated. I think it's really complicated.
Yeah, I will continue to say, when you're going to give somebody a piece of your business, and you're not really, the win here is this new money is going to financially enable the Big Ten to create this business operation. And it's going to give each of your member schools a cash infusion. I just don't know that that's worth it in the long term, specifically if each of your members are not allowed to go out and get their own private money. Because all of these universities, you will see, all of these universities are going to put their athletic operations and revenue generation into a new business. It's the only way that you can move forward and try to survive and thrive. I think it just doesn't. We need more details.
Yeah,
we need more details. That's certainly what this comes down to. And I am sure that the Big Ten is tired of generating less revenue on the whole than it should be. And that's what's driving this. I mean, it's got to be built so that You don't have to give anybody but the vested members of this conference a say in what happens. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are scared of, is that you bring in a private equity firm, and you're seeing this at Texas Tech, and you're seeing this at all these universities that are getting boosters to spend millions and millions of dollars on NIL. You start losing decision-making power. And whether it's the player, the university, I don't think this is the slam dunk that people think it is. There's got to be a lot of logistics worked out.
Yes.
This isn't going to be free. There is going to be a hook with a string attached. The shareholders often have more say about how business is done. And I'm really curious, if you bring in a private equity firm, what do they get their claws in?
I mean, I think if you look at the NBA deals, right? Look at what like the Wizards did. Look at what some of these professional teams have done. They just did a basic ass, hey, you're gonna get 10% of the franchise,
a minority ownership.
Yeah, minority ownership share, and that's gonna be valued at X, and that's it. And the stipulation is only around when you want to divest from the franchise, right? When you want to pull your 10% or whatever the number would be. Or
how soon you can or cannot pull your 10%.
How soon you can or cannot. Hey, like, when you do, how long do we have? When you do, are we able to pay you in installments? Does it have to be one lump sum? Like, these are all things that I think really, really matter. And I think that the hard part is like, consider the fact that some of these schools are owned by like physical states, and some of these schools are private schools, right? Like let's say like BYU, Notre Dame, right? Private, schools with books that are private, don't have to divulge, all of that type of situation. That's a totally different situation. So I just think if I'm the Big Ten, all I'm interested in here is keeping this as simple as possible and doing hey, private equity firm, here's 10%. 10% of the Big Ten currently is valued at, $500 million or whatever, whatever it is. In the tweet, it's $2 billion. So whatever $2 billion is percentage-wise of the Big Ten. That's, that's what I would be doing.
Mike Smith, they do not need private equity. They got a network. Well, I think the hard part, you mean like Big Ten Network and their TV deal? I think the hard part about that is that money's already allocated. You need new money. You need a new cash injection you're essentially trying to bump up the curve. And again, I think the Big 12 is kicking people's ass in business. They just are. And I think the model that has you take a mid-level TV deal and those TV partners are going to help you grow your global expansion. They're going to partner with you on one-off events. Like that's where the Big 12 is winning right now. They're making significantly more money leveraging their TV partners for business opportunities. To me, that's the real win. If you're the Big Ten, you have to produce for your TV partners because they're paying you $1 billion a year, man. Like they're paying you so much money.
Yeah, I just don't think the Big Ten has that much of a problem doing that right now, right? I mean, you have enough teams in your conference that are good, that are driving results for you on TV. Now, to me, your biggest problem is you're looking at the P&L sheet and you want that profit margin to be wider. And so anytime you're going to sell a share of a company, you're doing that so that you can be more liquid to make another move.
That's right.
So the question really becomes, okay, well, what is, again, as Pete Thamel or whatever dude referenced Pete Thamel as.
Thamel.
Yeah, whatever, he says it's, allegedly a $2 billion deal, somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay, let's say you do a deal for $2 billion. Okay, great. That's a great chunk of change, man. But what are you going to do with it? Because just saying, hey, guys, we got $2 billion and we're going to slice it 18 ways. Like, okay, great. But what does that do for the conference? Like, what is the point of, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't understand about this deal.
It can't just be so that you have money in your pocket and I don't know this to be true, but just on a common sense basis, my guess is that this is a creation fund. You are going to take this $2 billion and you are going to leverage it to create a new entity inside the Big Ten that is going to be wholly in charge of creating new revenue streams for this conference. Whether that is the Jimmy Jack Championship Big Ten Crochet League or whatever, that'd be my guess as to what this will be, because there's just no other reason to do this.
I mean, you guys understand that 18 ways of $2 billion is 111 million per school.
Yeah, it's good money.
Like, I mean, it's good money, but it's not, it's not like it's holy cow, like we are just set for like 10 years at each school financially, and like we're, like that's probably what, like I mean, you said earlier in the show that someone told you it takes about half a billion at what did you say, UNLV allegedly or whatever, like at the G5 level. So like I just, all I'm saying is I'm not saying it's a bad deal. What I'm saying is that I don't know if it's a good deal yet. We need more details.
I also think you need to understand it's not going to be $2 billion split 18 ways.
Which is also part of the conversation. Yeah.
It's going to be largely, in my opinion, used for a singular business purpose. Hiring human, like the Big 12, for instance, hired a commercial director for basketball and one for football. Creating a new entity, creating the human infrastructure, all of that stuff that goes into forming a sales operation. That's what it is. Got to create a pool of callable collateral separate from the university. I would think that's true. The real stadium guy, James. No, this picture's not better. And now he's a member.
No.
The real stadium guy, James. I also reported the fake James. He reported himself.
Bro, is the butt buzzer not on today, or what's going on here?
James, you understand that you're using you're commenting from your burner account, right? You understand that? So, I would also point out the Cubs are still losing 3-0, one out, top of the ninth. Mike, is that Soroka? Mike Soroka is pitching for the Cubs now, wearing number 99. Is that how many home runs you're about to give up, or how many pitches it'll take you to get through this inning? Yeah, good job bouncing that splitter outside.
Okay, James, how do you deny that you have a burner, bro? You have two burners now.
I do not have a burner account. Well, the problem is I don't know which account is real now.
Yeah.
I don't know which account is. Do we do an Oak State James burner account trivia test?
I don't know how many inches. Test it.
How many inches in the butthole is the buzzer?
Damn.
James
is
didn't know
that.
that.
Question?
James has lost his ever-loving but Monty the facilities mind. I agree. And maybe yesterday was a breaking point. I don't know. I still remember that Pat was not the starter that year. It was Adam Bednarik. He got hurt. Pat got the start and never gave it up. Okay. I like it. Joey B, the conferences are all small corporations anyhow. Private equity makes sense. It's all business now. It is all business. It is 100% business. Back of the envelope calculations equal lot lizard math. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even disagree with that, bro. Don't even disagree.
Back of the envelope calculations.
It's time for a super league where schools like Rutgers, Purdue, Maryland, etc. are forced to compete in the arena they don't belong in. I'm telling you, not everybody would join. Not everybody would join. Joey B. Monty, in 5 years, do you see the Mountain West Pac-12 having to merge? My point, future moving towards super conference narrative. I don't necessarily believe that G5 will be a super league conversation. I think that's assumed. I would not assume that. When this new entity is formed out of the SCORE Act, I would not assume that. I would not. I mean, you at some point have to be accountable for the games you lose and the TV audiences you don't draw, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when does that start mattering?
I mean, it should matter now. I mean, I think that, there's no way that you should just get a free pass on that and make the money and do all the things and then complain about, again, it's the same behavior we saw with the House settlement, right? Hey, how are we going to pay $21 million or whatever it was? And, I've been saying for years that they need their own system and they need to stop being compared to the power of schools. It's just that simple. And that will be facilitated through the Super League, in my opinion.
Don't disagree. I'm not going to read any of Stadium Guy James's comments until he outs himself for having a burner account. Sean McJunkin, Tigers. Okay. What about Clemson? Or did you mean Memphis? ACC Gummy, it mattered when the Pac-12 melted down. It certainly did. It did. Joey Harper. The G5 might have to form their own super conference. Well, they also might have to win. Yeah. You might want to form your own playoff. That's what I would do. Yeah. But that's just me. Chad Perling, Monty, help me out. Is there a side hustle for me?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what
does that mean, bro?
What does that mean? I mean,
are you asking what side hustles we recommend, or what? I just don't know.
Yeah, what does that mean? Yeah, clarify that, because I can tell you 101 side hustles. Yeah, it's really interesting. One of the conversations that's coming out of this Big Ten thing, and I don't mean to be rude, I'm just texting with a couple of sources. They're telling me that consistently, sources not talking to each other, the SCORE Act is going to play a big role in what the Big Ten is going to be able to do. So, but that's just me. I'm looking at the XP leaderboard, Monty, and it shows that 21 times a day is impersonating James. Okay. Listen, I love it, James.
The XP leaderboard? What the hell is the XP leaderboard?
Yeah.
Is that like a thing?
Phil Benzer says, sad day in Vegas, we'll never forget. It's not a sad day. It's a day to celebrate the strength of Las Vegas. It's not a day. This is the anniversary of the horrendous event that I don't want to name by name. But this is not a sad day. This is a day to remember how Las Vegas has changed out of that event. And I think the mayor and I think a lot of leadership in Las Vegas have recognized that. And I think the people of Las Vegas are strong. I think we love to be like, oh, it's a sad day. It's not a sad day. If you choose to honor those, then I think it's a sad day. If you choose to honor the people who lost their lives that day by doing nothing, then it's a sad day. But, Love Muscle. Shout out to all the feds who are currently headed home on furlough. Okay. Boy, it's just going to be that day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird vibe in here today. I'm not going to lie, dude. Like,
it is
kind of weird, dude.
71 Oak State James accounts. It's interesting. Can we get a drug test done on James? Well, if I knew which one, if he would own his burner accounts,
Yeah, I don't think, in all sincerity, James,
holy
I'm being 100%
fuck,
genuine.
Kyle Tucker got a base hit. Oh my, wait. Is it? Let me just double. Is that Kyle Tucker? That can't be Kyle Tucker. No, Kyle Tucker can't hit. That's not Kyle Tucker. That's not. I think that's Kyle Tucker. That's, you guys, Chicago Cub, ow, my leg hurts guy, Kyle Tucker, who still thinks he's worth $500 million, just got a base hit. Wearing a Cub uniform, he got a base hit. Now, Seiya Suzuki, the Cubs' hottest hitter currently, who is about to strike out, would be my guess, because Robert Suarez for the Padres is in the game, throwing 102-mile-an-hour fastballs and 93-mile-an-hour sliders. 101 at the top of the zone. Blown away. Cubs trailing 3-0, bottom of the ninth, 1 on, 1 out. We'll cry a little bit when that's done. God, that is a four-seamer that he just, that's the thing about baseball that I love so much. You cock back and throw 100 miles an hour, dudes are not going to hit it. You can throw a four-seamer at the top of the zone, and they're not going to hit it. What?
Yeah, so I've been doing some verifying on, so they're commenting about this XP leaderboard thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a newer feature apparently that YouTube has rolled out that I was not aware of.
Oh, crown, the little crowns, you mean?
Yeah, but if you click on the crown thing,
yeah,
you can see the order, and through that process, you can see who is doing some impersonating of Oak State
can you
James.
really?
You can, yes. So I can confirm that 21 times a day is impersonating Oak State James. So, yeah.
Oh, there it is, number 8 on the leaderboard. Okay.
Yes.
21 times a day is impersonating James. Okay. So the gig is up. That's unfortunate. I was hoping we caught James using his. What is Dana Marie on the leaderboard? Who's the Dana Marie account?
Yeah. Where's Dana Marie at?
Where's Dana Marie at? Is Dana Marie real? Seiya hasn't struck out yet, which is a thing.
Yeah, notice James is here today. Dana's not.
Dana was here earlier. I read a comment.
There she is, 25th. Yeah.
25th. Chad Perling's 25th on my side, but that's fine. Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody who tries to rank number 1. Monty, I am actually cheering for the Cubs for your sake.
No, dude, no. No. Do not say that. Why would you say that, bro? We don't need the Cubs being in your black book, dude.
James, we've talked about this. There's no difference from this to Preston Stone's cock. I'm telling you, stop cheering for the Cubs.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
You're a Kansas City Royals fan. So just live in that.
And they rolled into a double play. Nice. Thanks, James. See? Nice job, dude. Nice job. You bring up the Cubs, what do? Double play to end the game.
Ooh,
awesome.
You got to review that. Is that not close? I'm going to guess since the game's final, they're not going to review it. And I said to Jake today when they started a reliever, and I hate Fernando Tatis Jr. Yes, untuck your uniform and put your hat on backwards. That's what professionals do. Oh, wait, you're not professional.
Anyway, professional crashing his bike.
Stop talking about my teams because nobody believes that you're. Yeah, he's out. Nobody believes that.
Yeah, stop, dude.
Stop talking about my teams. Just stop talking about my teams. Pit of misery for the Cubs and Tiger fans today. Well, you guys absolutely got your doors blown off, and the Cubs didn't hit at all. So at least you guys scored a run. Monty and Jake versus Stadium Guy James is like Howard Stern versus Hansi. Okay. Yeah, James just says things that he can't back up, and then he cheers for people who die. So is what it is.
Or get bounced from their team.
Who would you rather root for your team, Drake or Okie Doke Jimmy? I think Okie Doke Jimmy. That would not Drake.
Okie Doke Jimmy.
I just don't want Drake betting on my teams. If Drake wants to cheer for the beloved, let him cheer. Just don't bet, because anything that Drake bets on, he loses. James reminds me of Bad Luck Schleprock. That's exactly right. Oh, Dana Marie. Yes, I am real. James wishes he was me. You're going to have to, at some point show that you're real, because I don't buy it. I think you and Okie Doke Jimmy need to prove that you're not the same person.
Dude.
The Chad Carter says, Dana, marry me. Now everybody is changing their picture.
Go up to his paid comment. Go up to Chad Carter's paid comment, dude.
Oh, my God. Where is Chad Carter's paid comment? Am I doing it right?
That's incredible, bro. Absolutely incredible.
That's so good.
Dude,
that is so good.
I would like everyone to just change their picture to the Oak State James picture.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
That is so good. That is so good. I don't even know how you. And by the way, Chad Carter, a member for 20 months. Appreciate you.
Yes.
So much. Thank you. It's incredible to me that
Hi, this
you
is
guys
James. Welcome back.
are. And then
Yay!
Lopes Fan Gabe drops a okey doke Jimmy bomb. Like, I don't even know how you top that. I really don't. But Pixar mom, Dana Marie is Pixar mom. Okay. Well, listen, I hope Dana Marie is real, and we appreciate all of your commenting. Sean McJunkin says, "Good morning, San Diego."
Bro, McJunkin?
Hey, man. What's going on? What's going to be really funny is when my kids load up something on TV, they'll say, "Who the F is that guy?"
Who the fuck is that guy?
Exactly right. Pixar mom. Yeah. Hey, now. You want to talk about a little Woody and what? No, Pixar. Woody.
Have
You ever seen Finding Nemo? Woody from the movie Finding Nemo? You know, okay. Steely says this chat's hilarious. It has its day. It has its day. James has spawned an anonymous following. And this is what I try to tell James all the time. Bro, you're a character on the show, man.
Yeah, the days you get all pissy about us giving you a hard time, you really should be thanking us.
On me. The Honda Civic has rights. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's a shit box. Don't tell me it has rights, dude. Bro, you really should be thanking us on the days when we give you a hard time, because it really is just stoking the fire of your brand in the comment section.
Well, and my question is, do you have a 25-year roof? Because if you do, James, you're living the dream.
There's no way he's got a 25-year roof, bro.
James is kryptonite to all the teams and players, and for the love of God, don't wish Monty and Jake a good day. Yeah, you shut your mouth, James.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Great. This is like the Matrix. Everyone is becoming a TCU fan.
No, you don't get to say that, dude. After you and your 800 teams that you're a fan of.
I'm a fan of the Cowboys and the Chiefs and TCU and Baylor and Texas Tech and Texas State and Texas Christian.
I like Gonzaga.
And Gonzaga and Washington State and Northwestern, because I am a big fan of Preston Stone's cock. So, how can I not be?
Length and girth.
And James is like, I don't have multiple teams.
Okay.
The real Pete Forte. Let's go Padres. Thank you, James or Dana.
It really should be James and Dana.
Why, Pete? Why, Pete? Monty has a snake in his boot. I do. Hey, Pixar mom, send me your OnlyFans. LOL. Yeah, I guess I should have known.
Sucking a ding dong.
You know what the best part is? You want to know how much my life sucks? The Cubs game ends. I can't find the remote, and the Kelly Clarkson show is on. Remote procured,
bro.
I want to. I guess I don't,
bro.
Anyway. Oh, Sean McJunkin says I live in Eugene.
Oh man, that's just so exciting.
Are you chatting from your burner account?
Apparently, man.
Okay. Lopes Fan Gabe, you mean the Jakey Two Shakes cinematic masterpiece of choice, Finding Nemo?
Dude, it's the East Australian Current, man. Come on.
Bro, you at some point you're going to admit that you have terrible taste in movies.
What do you mean, dude? You always criticize me for not eating enough variety in food. I have a ton of variety in movies, bro.
Inception and The Dark Knight. Hey, Monty, what do you want to watch tonight? Why don't we watch? I don't know. How about we watch a ball game? Nah, Inception's on Skinamax. Okay.
Monty, James and Dana are plugging into Inception. We really got to turn this on.
But listen, TCU is playing Oak State and James is orgasming all over the place. That's cool, but the Dark Knight is on the CW because nobody watches Pac-12 football, and that gives me time to cook wings during the break. So let's get the Dark Knight rolling. Fucking Harvey Dent, people. That's your entire life. That's your entire life. Because you haven't, and you will occasionally be like, you're right. I need to watch more movies. How about we, you know what? I'll compromise. Why don't we put on Finding Nemo?
It's sort of a natural reflex.
We can get Woody and Buzz Lightyear and they save the fish. It's a great story that everybody can gravitate to. Circle of Life and stuff. That's your entire movie catalog. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Blue's Clues.
I've seen Heat.
You just don't start. Stop.
I mean, I've seen Ronin.
Don't. Nick, stop it. You saw Ronin because I stapled your balls to a recliner and made you watch it.
Listen,
you don't always have to be negative,
bro. I've seen.
Am I wrong,
dude? I've seen all the Bourne movies. I mean, I've seen a bunch of movies.
You're right. I don't live in Eugene. It's actually Springfield. Where is Springfield?
10 minutes from Eugene.
Okay. Didn't even know that. Domer Wop. Hello, Domer Wop.
Hey, Domer.
Wasikowski, A Bug's Life is a great movie. Hope Jake's seen that. Nope, haven't seen Bug's Life.
Dude, it's not about cockroaches, okay?
Speaking of cock. Apocalypse Now. The horror.
Okay.
Do you even know what Apocalypse Now? No, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't know. Oh, dude, I got to tell you about this East Australian current. Well, what about Apocalypse Now? Well, who the fuck is that guy? We're talking about Nemo swimming for his life, and you want to talk about an apocalypse? Bro, we can't talk about no apocalypse. The apocalypse is going to be when his eggs die, prick.
Yeah, what about World War Z? I mean, that works, doesn't it? I mean, come on.
You just keep digging the hole.
Hey man, I know that I haven't seen Apocalypse Now, and I have no idea who is even in that movie. But I gotta tell you something, Monty.
I mean, what about The Matrix? What about The Edge of Tomorrow? I mean, what about?
I gotta tell you something, Monty. I haven't seen Apocalypse Now, but
I mean.
But if you want to talk about great cinematography, have you seen The Fifth Element? Multi-pass his ass, boy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, multi-pass, right? I mean, come on.
Listen, I know that I haven't seen The Godfather, but Pineapple Express, that was a film. Don't call it a movie. It's a film, Monty.
Yeah, it's a cinematic experience, Monty.
I literally walked out of Pineapple Express and tasted like,
I don't know. Hey, man, listen, I've seen a lot of good films. How did that movie not win an Oscar? I mean, it's politics. It's weed. So that's what it was.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
It does, because I'm a terrible parent. Yeah, what about Star Trek?
Well, let me tell you something. I haven't seen Star Trek. But, Cars was a movie that can compete out there. They flew through space and stuff in Cars.
They transcended time and space with that pit stop, Monty. I mean, listen. Star Trek was Interstellar,
movie,
but,
The McConaughey movie where he's crying like a bitch behind the book. Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen Star Trek, too, but you seen McConaughey behind the bookshelf? Yeah, that's a film.
Yeah, I mean, McConaughey was really good in that film, Monty.
He doesn't wear deodorant, Monty.
Oh, this is just the life that I am forced to live with this guy.
Now, let me tell you something. You think you know everything until you've seen Matthew McConaughey cry behind a bookshelf, and he has like literal flies near his armpits because he doesn't wear deodorant. That's when you become a man.
Oh. Forever in your debt, or whatever the hell she says in that movie that I can't remember the name. Good luck.
Forever in your debt?
So I said, yeah.
What was your... No, I'm not doing... What was your favorite movie as a kid?
Well, you know what? I gotta tell you something. There's a lot of good movie characters. I mean, you've got Nemo, Jim from Blue's Clues.
What the fuck does one thing have to do with the other?
Well, I gotta tell you something about Rafiki. This motherfucker Rafiki, that's a movie character, Monty. When Rafiki holds up Nala and then they sing the song about the circle jerk of life, I felt hair on my chest.
I don't know. I am broken. The Cubs lost. This is who I am. Oh, speaking of which, Greg Hawkins, I told you, Monty, Rhea over Shota. What a freaking disaster of a game, and the offense decided to take the day off. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding. The stadium guy.
Oh, we have so many problems now, bro. Dude, we have so many problems.
Dude. Oh my God. Like
Dude, I literally don't care. I don't care. Dude, Gumby's got James' picture now, dude. Gumby has James' picture now.
Oh, this show never ceases to amaze me.
I don't care what the topics are. This is the lead right here, dude. We've got burner accounts in the membership just to mock James.
Hey guys, you got 180,000 subs. What's going on that channel?
We don't know. We have no idea. We used to have control of the comments section. Now it's Dana Marie and
I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, dude.
And then Boyd Lake shows up. The SEO King of America. Good to see you. Steely, the show has gone off the rails again.
I mean,
well, the stadium guy, Dana Marie, is the person in transition. Could be.
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Could be. Calford, pony up. We got sub burners, right? Keep more memberships. Was it me or was Monty doing Marge Simpson voice in his rants? Whatever it was, I don't have control of it. So everyone is now a TCU fan, but you. Sing with me. I don't know what Riff Ram Bazoo is.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Dude, turn the buzzer up and just live in that moment.
Hey, look here, man.
Live in that moment. All right. Let's reset. Did the Pac-12 come away with a huge win in court yesterday? Sort of. We'll explain it next after this from the advocates.
You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. I tell you every day on this show, you guys, you should never have to pay a consultation fee. You should never have to pay a huge retainer. When you have had one of the worst moments of your life, and that's an accident, maybe you slipped and fell, maybe you got hurt at work today, your neighbor's dog attacked you or your family, you don't need to be worrying about, do you have the money to find somebody who's fought this fight and can win and can make us whole again. That's why you go to the Advocates, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. In fact, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. So get to theadvocates.com right now, 24/7, 365, and get clear, risk-free advice. Talk to somebody who's fought the fight that you're fighting, and they've won the fight that you're fighting. Hand the Advocates the claims process. Let the Advocates fight and win for you at theadvocates.com. All right. Big moment in this case, supposedly. A judge rules the Mountain West Conference motion, rules against the Mountain West in their motion to dismiss the Pac-12's lawsuit. Now, what does that mean? It means that the poaching case, which is the Pac-12 suing the Mountain West to try and escape a contractual obligation to pay poaching fees for all of the members that joined the Pac-12 conference from the Mountain West. A judge dismissed that case, and talking to sources close to that situation, this is largely a procedural move. This was not as the Pac-12 is spinning and their mouthpieces will tell you, they're telling you that this was, oh my God, a huge win. This shows you we're going to win this case and we're not going to pay these poaching fees. Nothing could be further from the truth. This was a procedural move. The bar for dismissal is so incredibly high. I don't even know that the Mountain West ever had a chance to win. It's a procedural move to have the case dismissed. You see it in almost every lawsuit of this kind. All the judge ruled here was that the Pac-12 filed this lawsuit with a belief that they are in the right, with a belief that they do not owe the poaching fees. That's all this ruling says. That's why she will not dismiss it. The judge ruled not to dismiss the case. And all she is saying with that ruling is the Pac-12 believes that their position is just, and therefore I cannot dismiss the case. That's all this is. And now what happens is, because a lot of people want to know, well, okay, what happens next? Well, what happens now is we go through the trial process. And that includes discovery. That includes text messages and emails and communications and all of that stuff. Or, as I have been telling you since this lawsuit was filed, we're going to negotiate a settlement. The temperatures come down significantly in the room since the GCU filing. The temperature in the room has come down since arbitration fell apart. It behooves both sides of this situation to settle this, because if you don't, nobody is going to earn money here. The poaching fees, every day that this lawsuit goes forward, and every time there's a hearing, every time there's a meeting, a conference, every time lawyers talk, exchange emails, talk to their clients, talk to each other, the poaching fees for the Pac-12, they go up. The poaching fees for the Mountain West, they go down. It's as simple as that. Nobody on either side of this, and I hope people understand this, because the Pac-12 mouthpieces continue to tell you, oh, the Pac-12 is winning this. The Pac-12 is winning this. It doesn't matter what happens in the outcome of this case. The Pac-12 lost. We're so far down the road now. And ask yourself, what is the outcome? What happens if the Pac-12 wins this case? They're still going to have to pay a ton of lawyer fees. Which is that really saving you money? What the Pac-12 thought would happen here is there would be a quick settlement. That the Mountain West would fold and they would take a lowball number and we'd all move on with our lives. That has not happened. And the biggest issue is both of these entities, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, just continue to pay lawyers. And so let's say the Pac-12 loses this case. They pay the poaching fees. How much of that is going to the law firms now? A significant amount. And I will continue to tell you, after talking to sources around this situation today, the Pac-12 is in no position to lose this case. If this goes before a judge, and I think they know this, in fact, I've been told that the Pac-12 is well aware of this, this ruling means absolutely nothing for the merit of their lawsuit. It's still, for the Pac-12 to go in front of a judge, argue a case and win is almost impossible with the facts that we know. And the bigger issue is if they lose with this case and they don't settle, if they lose this case, it's poaching fees and legal fees. And there's a real chance that puts them in financial peril. Jake, I think this is the only thing this does is gives the Pac-12 another opportunity to settle this case.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll do it. I think they're prideful. I think that they refuse, to operate in a way that is logical and makes sense. everything here says to settle. Everything here says don't go to court, don't go to the trial, don't allow it to get there. But again, we've been saying this for like 10 years that hey, the Pac-12 should do X and they wind up doing Y, right? Or the Pac-12 should do X and they never do anything at all. And I think
that's right.
That's the hard part is that I no longer trust the Pac-12 to do the logical thing. I don't trust them to do the smart thing, certainly. And what's hard is that, the Mountain West is sitting here waiting for months and months and almost years now.
Yeah.
Like year and a half, 2 years, we're going to be into this thing. And it's a frustrating situation because it never had to get here. And I think that, of course, Pac-12 land is going to try to spin this as a victory. I'm sitting here saying, okay, cool. You want to say you got a victory on dismissal of their motion to dismiss the case. All right. But at the same time, like, this isn't a case you're just going to dismiss. I think that ultimately this is a case you're going to rule on. You want to set a precedent with this case. And I think people don't consider that this is like one of those cases where it is like never before seen in college football situation, in college athletics, really, I guess. So, I don't know, man. I think that the Pac-12 I'm not confident the Pac-12 is around in 5 years. I'm not confident in that at all. I think that this court situation and how all this plays out is really going to decide their fate. And I just don't see how that ends positively with them or for them based on their situation. And that's why I say I'm not confident they'll be around.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to find a reasonable avenue to, what's the right way to say it, to adjudicate this, to bring it to an end, because I think it's bizarre to me that Pac-12 fans and Pac-12 supporters and the Pac-12 media arm want to call this a resounding victory and a huge day. Bro, this is nothing more than a fait accompli. Like, again, I just continue to say, the bar for dismissing a lawsuit is so incredibly high. Before in pretrial, the bar is so high, it's so difficult unless there is just a glaring omission in a filing, a procedural error, the Pac-12 believes it has grounds. I mean, it's as simple as that's all this was. I mean, it is not. I think we're at a point now, and I don't know how to break this to people. There's not going to be a winner in this case.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you this during arbitration. There's not going to be a winner in this case. We're too far down the road. There's been too much money spent. I don't know how you fix it.
I would love to know what Pac-12 officials think their grounds are. Like, that's the thing that I just don't quite understand. Like, I don't know what, like,
they
you look at
believe
this and what are,
a violation of interstate commerce. It is tortious interference. I think they tried to throw every argument in the law into this lawsuit about the Mountain West interfered with our ability to reconstitute our conference. Well, they didn't. And this goes back to this idea that you can put anybody you want in your conference, invite anybody you want. But if you invite any of our members, you're going to have to pay per team. It's contract law. And I think when you're the idiot that is for years now known as somebody that is going to say what you're told to say from the Pac-12's perspective, and you continue to hoodwink people to believe that UCLA was not going to be allowed to leave the Pac-12, that nobody else was going to leave. They were just all going to stay together, and back of the envelope calculations. And when you're that guy, at some point, I would think that the Pac-12 homers would learn everything you say is inaccurate. This comes down to basic contract law. You signed a contract, and according to people in your own world, you knew the contract was not valid when you signed it. You signed it anyway, and now you don't want to be held to account for basic contract law like, well, I'm going to sign this contract and execute it in good faith.
Which, again, they never did. There was no good faith.
But you only signed this contract because you had nowhere else to go. And this is going to be a big part of this. The Mountain West threw you a preserver, and you tried to kill them with it. You tried to choke them with it, and it didn't work. And then when you couldn't choke them with it, you decided to try and tie rocks around their ankles and make them swim to the shore. And they did. And you're upset about that. And you want to do everything in your ability to interfere with their ability to continue to grow as a conference, which is what you're exactly accusing them of, which I have to believe the Mountain West is going to argue if this ever goes to court, which it won't. But, I mean, at some point, on some level, you're going to have to come to the rationale that neither one of these two parties is going to win this case. Neither one of them. And I have a lot of respect for a lot of people on both sides of the line. Neither one of you is winning this case.
Yeah, no question about it. And it's
the lawyers are winning the case.
Yeah. Billable hours are undefeated. And unfortunately, yeah, I don't know. I think the conversation on what this does to college football and specifically what it does to the group of five is definitely the long-term thing, because
it's a weight around the group of five's neck. That's what this is. In the Pac-12, and again, I know that Pac-12 fans continue to think that I have some bias. I don't. The Pac-12 continues to be a blight on the face of the G5. It's not some huge new thing that's going to save us. It's the way this conference continues to do business. The way that it celebrates something as a win that's not a win. Is it good that a judge said this, I'm not going to dismiss the case? Yes. But now you actually have to go and perform in court. And I don't believe, and I think they know they don't have the ability to perform to a level where they get a verdict in their favor. Because you're not winning this case. Again, I'm just going to continue to say that. But if your whole goal is to go to court and get a verdict in your favor, show me how that plays out. Because I've asked a whole lot of contract lawyers about this, and I can't find one who believes that the Pac-12 can make an argument in front of court based on the merits of the contract, as we know it that they're arguing. Having the filing as we do, knowing the arguments they're making, I don't see how that comes out. I really don't.
No idea.
So that's the hard part for me. And I wish I did. I wish somebody could win this case. I'm telling you, they cannot. Who do you think wins? Is there a winner here? What do you guys ultimately think happens? Your comments on the Pac-12 coming up after this from Prize Picks.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Boy, you tripping.
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. I would like to point out, already a winner on Prize Picks. Already a winner on Prize Picks. And that is largely due to me going against the Chicago Cubs. Dylan Cease, 3.5 strikeouts. I took more. He finished with 5. I would like to thank you very much. Also, the Detroit Tigers for sucking, like just suckification of sucking. And again, I've only told you so many times that Tanner Bybee is probably the most important pitcher for the Gardos. I had him at 4.5 strikeouts. I took more. He had 6. And I would also like to thank My guy, Rocchio. Oh! And I hope you guys know the story of Brian Rocchio. He was sent down. Nobody wanted him. And now he's in the lineup playing second base. And my guy, all he needed was 1.5. So 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. And when you go deep, that wins it for you. 3 for 3.
Yeah.
$60 to win 120. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We are winners on Prize Picks. And I'm telling you, it's so easy to win on Prize Picks. I'm going to hand you the winners for Thursday Night Football. Because I think it is so easy on Prize Picks on Thursday Night Football. Rams and Niners, you've got to take Mac Jones. You've got to take Mac Jones in this game. I think it is almost without question in this game. Mac Jones is only 215.5. That's it. And I think Mac Jones is playing better football than Brock Purdy. And now it's almost certain that Mac Jones is going to start. You got to take more on Mac Jones. That is absolutely for certain. Matthew Stafford. This one's a little more difficult. It's 236.5. I think I would probably go more with pass attempts at 31.5 feels high.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go less than that or stay away from Stafford altogether. But I think Christian McCaffrey, 63.5 rushing yards. I think I would go less. He has not done that, but one time this season, it was against Seattle to open the season. He's gone 55, 52, and 49 against Jacksonville on the road. I tend to think the Rams are gonna be good, so I think I would take less than 63.5. And then the only other one that I think you can look at is Devontae Adams, 52.5 receiving yards.
Yes, more.
He's averaging 71.4 in his last 5, which is probably a little high, but I would definitely go more. Flex play those 3, which means you only need 2 or 3 to win. 20 to win $60. Cash it. I'm telling you, it's absolutely the easiest way to win. Prize Picks. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more instantly at Prize Picks. All right, let's get your comments rolling on the Pac-12. The final boss, Stadium Guy James, a member for 25 months. Hello, everyone. This is the living legend of Stadium James. Yay.
Okay, so now I don't believe that it's you, dude. I don't believe it's you.
Yay!
That's the problem here, dude.
I
don't believe it's you.
This is not James. This is not James. And how do I know it's not James? Pretty easily. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? It's not James. Ooh, that's weird. Maybe we're having a communication issue. Because the final boss also gave 25 Monty Show, or he's been a member for 25 months. So James has not been a member that long.
James, how do you have like 10 burners, dude? How are you doing this, man?
Very interesting question.
Did you start a burner union? You've got all these people supporting your cause now?
It's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. So we'll see, Yeah. We'll see. But a member for 25 months, I like it. I like it a lot. But hey, by the way, the Stadium Guy Dana Marie is still the best account. I don't know who these people are, because I'm here for it. The Oak State James Burner Union. I believe that's better. And you guys are a better union than like the union pipe fitters, I believe. The final boss, who the F? Yeah, the final boss is a good one. The real stadium guy, James, I don't have any burners. I don't believe you.
Yeah, see, here's the problem, dude. We don't believe you. Like,
that's right.
How are we supposed to believe you, dude?
Don't lie to me.
Like, how are we supposed to believe you, bro?
The stadium guy, Dana Marie. Look at the avatar. Look at the avatar, you guys. Amazing. I nominate Gumby president of the Oak State James Burner Union. I agree. Boyd Lake. Oh, okay. Boyd Lake, not a burner account. Burner farm in Thailand. Exactly. Steely. Ferris has a college burner account, University BAU. Okay. ACC Commissioner Gumby. I'm down. Okay. Mountain Mama says pause, bro. Pause. Yeah, exactly right. All right. Where do you guys come down on the Pac-12 Mountain West thing? Do you guys believe there's a winner here? This is the thing where I think we need to figure out how that's going to play out. Because
financially, I don't think there's a winner. There won't be. But certainly in the water cooler, reputational realm, there's definitely going to be a winner and a loser.
The water cooler reputational realm.
Yeah. Okay. There's definitely going to be a winner and a loser here.
I think it is without question. I think this has to settle. And if it settles, my belief is that the Mountain West wins. If this goes to trial, I don't see how the Pac-12 can let it go to trial.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they settle, it's an unequivocal win for the Mountain West. There's no question.
Yeah, I would agree. The winner of the lawsuit is the SEC, undefeated in hypotheticals 100% of the time. Could be. Chad Perling, perspective or bias? Canzano, Pac-12 strikes big victory. Las Vegas Review, Pac-12 scores small procedural victory. Well, it is a small procedural victory. That's all that is. It is, hey, we want to dismiss this case. Will you allow us to do that? They said no. Okay, cool. Let's move on. It is almost meaningless. Almost meaningless. The real stadium guy, James. Mountain West and Pac-12 need to merge. I think that the new Pac West should be considered a Power 5.
No,
okay, this is the real
dude,
James.
No.
This is the real James.
No.
Because the real James says ridiculous things while commenting from the Civic parked behind the rectory. There's no reason that they
schemers trying to control their little worlds.
There's no merit for them being a power conference. None whatsoever. ACC West Commissioner Gumby. Sucks for OSU Wazoo, but they should have merged. They should have merged. PAC is a total loser. Total loser. Okay, Donnie. You've got a friend in me. Joey Harper, good news. Pac-12 scores a touchdown. Bad news, they still trail 56-7.
All right, we're going to move on here.
Truth. Red Sox just tied with the Yanks. Yes, 2-2, top of the third. One out, first and second, with Bregman at the plate, and he's going to round into a deuce. And
Epic.
Yes, he did.
Epic.
Rodon
Screw
gets
him.
out of it.
Maybe you shouldn't have banged down those garbage cans, and maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Stadium guy Dana Marie, pack of morons paying lawyers instead of focusing on sports. Truth.
Facts.
Nice earworm singing the friend in me in my head now. You've got a friend in you. OTC Mapes, Sox just tied the game. That's how you hit with no outs and the bases loaded. Yeah, you mean into a double play? What? Yeah.
No, double play. Yeah.
ACC Gumby, better earworm. The circle of life.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
What? You don't like my singing?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Eric, Bailey Dietrich, one thing we can agree on. Okay. I like it. Let's see if we agree on real quick the most overpaid coach in college football. If I said to you guys, who do you think is the most overpaid coach? And I mean, like we all know Mark Stoops making $9 million, shows up to work with a mask and a gun every day. Right? The only thing less underpaid than Mark Stoops are my sit bones. But I'd have to say Dabo Swinney making 11.5 per season. Now he's won multiple championships. Jake, is Dabo Swinney overpaid?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a hefty price. I think that listen, I mean, Dabo there's no question he is in the top half of coaches. If you did like top 50 coaches, he'd be in the top half. But they just haven't quite been able to put it together. Now, obviously, they're always around. They're always relevant. You're not a nothing, never talked about program with him at the helm. But 11 and a half a year.
Oh,
that's a heavy number, dude. That is absolutely a heavy number.
I would agree with that. That is a hugely heavy number. Hugely heavy number. Okay, how about this one? Bill Belichick, $10 million per season.
Without a doubt, overpaid. No question about it.
But Forbes ran an analysis. He's made them more money. Just in the words North Carolina football.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
He's brought a lot of eyeballs to the program. Now, has he won games? No. Will he probably get fired tomorrow? But
Going to Cincinnati.
Is he overpaid? I don't think he's overpaid. I do not think he's overpaid. I think at $10 million, he's making them money. Here's another one. How about your favorite coach? Prime.
Yeah, see, here's the one that I feel like is spot on because he makes them a lot of money.
A ton.
Yeah.
I thought you said he makes them a lot.
Oh, no.
The money he has made, Colorado, my God.
The unbelievers.
And I think he's a good coach. And I think any program's going to struggle when you lose one of the best quarterbacks and the best player in college football.
Do you believe?
You lose two of those guys, all of your wide receivers, I think you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And so I'm not surprised by the results this year. I think he's paid well.
I think it's a fair number. I think, listen, I think that Prime does a good job of managing the program. I think they're a hell of a lot more relevant in the Big 12 than they were at any time before. Before he was there, in not even just the Big 12, obviously, just in their history. I think they're more relevant now than they've been, and I think that's part of the value of Prime. And
I would agree with that.
I think it would be a lot to ask of any head coach to go to Colorado and, win a national championship or go to the CFP, right? But I think that give him time, let him work the process. And I do think that good things are going to continue to happen. I don't think that he should be anywhere much past this. Like, I would not feel comfortable paying him 12, 13 a year because I think you're in, hey, you got to win now territory if you're going to make that much. But I think 9, 10, anywhere in there is pretty middle of the road.
What do you make of Shadour Sanders today? Because I think this is a Deion conversation. You guys look at Shadour Sanders talking to the media today in Cleveland about Dillon Gabriel when he's being asked about Dillon Gabriel.
Vocally, anything to say?
I guess just one more. What do you think? You have to show to the coaches just to have that belief in you that you can be ready.
What can you say?
How much has Joe been important to both you and Dillon in terms of your guys' development to this point?
Y'all might as well.
That's strange. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to get cut or traded or what. I don't understand. He's handled the media perfectly. And then today happened. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. All you had to do was stand there and say, hey, I'm happy for Dillon Gabriel. You know, I wish him the best, and obviously I'm going to help, anything I could do to get him prepared. I'm happy to help. Well, what do you have to show to the coaches? I can only do what I can do. I try my best. I work really hard in practice, and at some point, I'm a believer in my talent. I think I'll get my chance, but right now it's Dylan's job, and I'm here 100% to support him.
Not that hard.
Which is what he's been saying and what he's been doing. And then today he pulled up with this mime shit, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we know just definitively what he's doing. I don't know. Like, I can't just sit here and 100% say I know what he's doing, but yeah, I mean, based on what I see and based on what I don't hear, yeah, I mean, this is, hey, I'm trying to get cut. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to get to a better situation or something. I mean, some people are claiming that he was trying to prove a point because all they wanted to ask him about was Dylan Gabriel. So he was trying to prove a point by not talking and saying like, hey, it's not about me. It's not about anything. Like, we should just be.
Yeah, I think if we don't know what he was trying to do, and if we have to surmise.
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, and I don't know why you would put yourself in that position. I don't know why you would do anything because the reality is a 5th round pick, you're walking a fine line, right? Like, obviously you got signed, you were drafted, but it's the 5th round, and say what you want about that. 5th round is 5th round, and any other 5th rounder we're not hearing from at the quarterback position. So to me, you're getting a lot of media coverage right now because you're Shadour Sanders, and most people agree you should have been drafted much higher. And, that.
But we got to stop with that. We got to stop. You weren't drafted much higher. And you weren't drafted much higher because, by all accounts, you made an idiot of yourself in the interview process. And the only thing today accomplished was reinvigorating that perspective. Because from the moment he was drafted until today, he has been a consummate professional. He has not put a word wrong or a step wrong. I don't know what this was today. And it's not funny, in my opinion. It's not just joshing around. It's not what this was. If it was funny and joshing around, you'd have answered a question. But I agree, the media, I don't understand why he was even allowed to talk to the media. And I go back to this point that I think the Cleveland Browns are miserably failing as an organization. From their stadium controversies to having Joe Flacco back on this team to drafting these 2 quarterbacks, this whole thing has been a disaster. Putting Shadour Sanders in front of the media today was a huge mistake. You should have made sure during open locker room he was not standing there. I've seen it with 100 different players during my career. You do not put guys like that in front of the media, because bad things happen, and only bad things can happen because guys like that are not prepared to handle tough questions. And it's just really disappointing.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing.
Well, because you know that he's got more, right? Like, that he knows better, that he's handled it better. And again, I think the best question is like, what made you do this, man? What were you trying to do here? What like, if your goal was to get people to talk about you, you sure as hell accomplished that goal. Because
if I'm Shadour Sanders, and this is what Cleveland Browns fans have always disagreed with me on, and I'll just keep saying this. He needs, and he should hope to be invisible until he's given an opportunity to be the starting quarterback. You should hope to be invisible, because if you are on the sideline and this is why I think it is really smart that you made one of them the number 1 and one of them the emergency quarterback, because if you'd have made Shadour Sanders number 2 to Dylan Gabriel, all the fans would have been doing is calling for Shadour. That's all they would have been doing. It was not possible to have one of them be the number 2 quarterback. That was just not the right way to go about this. And so for that, I give the Browns credit. Right up until you put Shadour in front of the media today. It is, in my opinion, when you have guys like this, and this is the problem when you have these young players in the NFL that made a ton of money in college, and we're seeing this across the NFL. This is not just a Shadour problem, by the way. They don't know how to handle not being that guy anymore. And again, until today, Shadour has shown incredible professionalism, incredible maturity, and he's always been super mature. Like, he's a guy that is well ahead of the emotional curve, right? That's why today is so disappointing, because I think he's been a perfect citizen. All of this tape of him working out nightly after they're done at the Browns, he goes down the street and he practices with a high school team at an academy. Did you guys all see that tape this week?
Yeah.
He's practicing with a high school academy team, working on, and he's specifically on tape, working on his feet and the connection between his feet and his hips and his shoulders. He's working on all of the shit that he needs to fix. He's outworking everybody. There's video of him in weight rooms at 4 a.m. at the Browns facility. The guy is a dog. He works hard. He's really smart. And then today happens, and all that's undone. All that's undone. It's just a really unfortunate, I don't know, is decision too strong? I think it is. But
yeah, I just think he was trying to play around, and I don't think he understands quite the ramifications. I think that he probably doesn't fully grip the situation from the standpoint of, like, hey, you're not just a quarterback for the Browns. Like, the situation is bigger. Like, everyone knows the Browns are a garbage organization right now, and it's your job to survive that, and days like today don't help that.
I agree. I think it is. I just think it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem, man.
And the other thing is too, like, everyone, like, and maybe I'll eat my crow on this, but I'm not, like, just over the moon with what Dillon Gabriel's put on tape. Like, he's had some nice moments, but he's left-handed.
Massively undersized.
Like, this guy's not going to be an NFL MVP, man. This guy is more likely to play 2 games and suffer an injury than he is to play the rest of the season and just be the guy for the Browns. Like, that's the reality of the situation. So the idea that you chose to do this today just shows me that you do also have a little bit of a lack of, vision into, like, hey, well, if Dillon's hurt, let's say, and Joe takes the job again, maybe then I can get elevated. But until, to do that, I need to stay the hell out of the way and continue to not make it about me. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think Dillon Gabriel's going to wind up being a Sam Bradford type quarterback, I think. There's going to be an opportunity here. But it's just a mistake. The reason there is video of him doing stuff is because he's the one the high school released the video. Kids on the high school team released the video. Can't call them Big West. Big West is already a conference. That it is. Chad Perling, Dana Marie, they should rebrand, but keep the rights to the PAC name in case things don't work out. They should merge. That's true, Joe. My bad. Okay. Domer Watt, maturity. He's boasting about how he's a legend, that he is legend. That's his brand. His brand is legendary. That's like his clothing line, his shoes, that's his brand. He's not saying his legendary mantra is a mindset. It is and if you don't get it, you don't get it. But anybody that's in the business world or entrepreneurial spirited will understand legendary. It's a mindset. It's not The Browns are not going anywhere anytime soon, as long as Andrew Berry and the rest of the Browns front office keep their jobs. Yeah. And we'll see how long that lasts, because this is a shocking outcome. Flacco is a flop, and if Gabriel doesn't cut it, they will give Shadour a shot or they will sign someone else. I don't think they want to give Shadour a shot. He was clearly the better player in the preseason. And it's not like Dylan Gabriel was terrible. He did some nice things. But Shadour Sanders, in the game where he played with the 2s and 3s, dominated. You put him with, and this is the thing that we've talked about all preseason. Dylan Gabriel only played with the 1s and 2s. Shadour's never played with the 1s. Shadour, it does not get practice reps with the 1s, did not play the preseason with the 1s. At no time, they don't want him to succeed there. I think Andrew Barry wanted him. I don't think Stefanski wanted him. I don't think ownership wanted him. That to me is the biggest issue. Domer Watt, because he doesn't have any maturity, he's a clown. Okay, if you think Shadour Sanders lacks maturity, you don't know Shadour Sanders. He's not immature. He has shown at no time to be immature. He is anything but immature. The issue is he overconfident? Maybe. Is he arrogant? Probably. Does he have an ego problem? Probably. Do you want your quarterback to have any of those or all of those? I want my quarterback to have all those. Want to be overconfident, want to be arrogant. Like, I want all of it. Because that's who the best quarterbacks are. That's who they are. And I understand that we're in a time and space where people don't necessarily want brash young men, especially young black men that are brash and outspoken. That's taboo in this country right now, and I totally get that. That doesn't mean he's immature. That means that you don't like that he's flashy, which I'm down with. Maybe he's just not your guy. But to say he's immature is, with all due respect, is completely inaccurate. Calford gifts 20 Monty Show members. Calford, always good to see you. Appreciate it. This doesn't have to become, I don't know. I think it always gets to this, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Domer Wap, he's more arrogant than Manziel. You're really comparing a drug-addicted, alcoholic Johnny Manziel to Shadour Sanders. Shadour Sanders, a guy who knew the playbook inside and out before he showed up for summer workouts. Shadour Sanders, the guy who has outworked everybody and who, when he got his start, absolutely dominated when he played with the 2s and 3s. That guy is Johnny Manziel. The guy who moved to Cleveland after the draft. Not when OTA started, not when training after the draft, he moved to Cleveland. The guy who has been doing free appearances and working in the community. That guy is Johnny Manziel. The guy who, again, is working out with a high school team during the NFL season, doing work that he doesn't have to do. That guy's Johnny Manziel. You should rethink that. Dan Campbell can fix Sanders' attitude. No, I don't think he can. There's one guy who can fix it. Shadour can fix it. It's as simple as that. Dan Campbell's not a fix-all. And I think Dan Campbell's probably getting a little exposed right now. So
hard to disagree.
Yeah. He has at no time showed he's immature. Right after we are talking about him doing a mime job interview being immature. I don't think it's being immature. I think what this shows you is he doesn't know how to handle the media. This is A.J. Brown. This is A.J. Brown tweeting out, "I hate it here" tweets.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. Is A.J. Brown immature? No. Does he lack media training and experience? Probably. That's Shadour Sanders is not being immature. This is him being lacking professionalism in dealing with the media. And I think the unfortunate part is now we get this is what Shadour did to himself today. He gets everybody that hated him hating him more and piling on top of him. And this thing with Shadour doesn't go away until he gets a shot and he fails. Because when he gets a shot and succeeds, you're all fucked because you're not going to be able to say anything.
Nope.
You will not be able to say 2 words about this cat because he showed you, and it's so indicative of who the Browns are. He showed you what he can do playing with the second and third string. And he showed you what he wasn't capable of when he was playing with the 4, 5s, and 6. And every guy on offense who got cut started the game number 2 with Shadour. They're not trying to help him succeed. So my guess is he's not being media trained. He's
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not.
Goff is that. Goff is pretty. So we should compare Jared Goff to Shadour Sanders. Right. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't even know what that means. And what is Dan Campbell putting 50 on a water boy have to do with anything? Here we go with Cuther. Not the point. Manziel was overly arrogant and accomplished much more in his college career than Sanders did. Okay. Dude, I'll take what Shadour Sanders did and what they did at Colorado during Shadour's time. I'll take that every day over anything Johnny Manziel did. Johnny Manziel was a selfish addict who, and now is telling you any chance he gets, hey, I was selfish and I was an addict and I threw away all of my talent. And yeah, if you think that Shadour Sanders being a young black man who's brash, a multimillionaire and flamboyant doesn't play a role in this, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I think it absolutely does. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I just think that haters are going to hate. That's just, I think Domer, I like you, dude. I appreciate your contribution to the show, but you again, just the same thing I say about Eric. You're a little uneducated on this. I think you don't understand. I don't think you understand the impact, him having the money and being black and also, doing what they did at Colorado and also producing, helping to produce a Heisman Trophy winner in their program. I just think that there's a lot of things that he did that Johnny never did. And Johnny was always a problem, albeit one of the most entertaining college football players we've seen, was a massive problem culturally. And I would never have Johnny Manziel on my team. I would never have him in my room. And I think that most people agree with that. And I think that, Shadour Sanders is somebody who is dying to get a shot. And is like a lot of guys in the league who get drafted and haven't gotten their shot yet. And that's fine. That's not a problem. But I just think that everyone saying that he's immature it's a short-sighted take. It's not a maturity level issue. What it is in my opinion, today he ran out of patience for his situation. And so he made a mistake.
I agree with that.
He made a poor choice and wanted to, make a scene kind of like, make a social media clip, if you will. Cause he knows how to do that. I have full confidence in that based on the culture he's been around for, a decade. So to me, I just look at it and I say, I'm not concerned about his maturity level. I'm concerned about his willingness and commitment to continue to persevere through the situation that he's in. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I just think that the Manziel thing, Johnny Manziel came from oil money. Johnny Manziel was a guy who, and I should look up his numbers. Johnny Manziel was a guy who I think only played 2 years. Let me look it up. He only played 2 years. I think he was a really good quarterback in college. And I think that when you look at his, was it 2010 season or 2011 season, that year where he had all of the, like, the 40 touchdown, 4,000 yard year. What's his name with the swag copter? Kevin Sumlin was his head coach. Johnny Manziel was a great college quarterback. But the idea that somehow he was better than Shadour or Johnny Manziel, or excuse me, 2013 Johnny Manziel had that year. The idea that, like, it's just a bad comparison, in my opinion. It's just a bad comparison, and I don't think you. I mean, they were a 9-14. They were 500 in conference. Like, yeah, I don't think I can get down with that one. That one I don't think I can get down with. All right, let's leave it there. I don't want the temperature in the room to get overly hot. Jake, who is the best team in college or in the National Football League right now?
I mean, I think it's difficult. I mean, I like what the Chiefs did over the weekend. I think the Worthy contribution was really good. At the same time, I think it's hard to, it's hard to escape what some of these teams, the way these teams have fallen off. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know what's up with the Ravens. No idea. The Packers fall off, needs to be studied. Allegedly one of the best teams in the league, and now all of a sudden just can't figure it out. And I agree that the Cowboy game was really scintillating and really good, but ultimately you end that game in a tie, which obviously is a whole other conversation. But I still think that I don't know that there is a best team. I think that there are some teams that are playing solid, some teams that are playing like crap, and other teams that are still trying to figure it out. But I'm not a Chiefs fan, but watching that game, the contribution that Worthy brings to their team is really hard to measure, man. I mean, he opens it up for them, and they made the Ravens look silly, dude. And I would also say that, the Bills are sitting there. Obviously, the Rams have looked really nice. The Stafford Devontae connection is really good. So I don't know that there is a best right now, but I do like what some of these teams are doing.
There's no question it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I think when you look at the way that the Chiefs played this past weekend, I don't even know how you don't take the Bears or the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the one where I don't understand. I think it's on those two, the Chicago Bears. I think it is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't even think it's close. I think if they're going to be explosive like that, I have a real hard time putting anybody ahead of Patrick Mahomes with that kind of ability to score points. It almost does not matter who you put them up against, because they can now, with that offense. I mean, you look at the numbers. I think they can compete with any defense on the field. And that's what's scary are they going to play that way week in and week out? Probably not. But if I look at who I think are the top 5 teams, man, I think I would put the Chiefs number 1. This question about the Philadelphia Eagles has to be answered. This question has to be answered. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but that offense is broken right now.
But we do this every year with this team, dude. We do it every year where their offense sputters and it's terrible and they look like crap. And then, you get to week 15 and somehow, some way they've scrapped together, a playoff winning season, and, they just kind of figure it out. And I don't know, like, how do you not
complete a pass in the second half?
I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know how that's possible, dude. Furthermore, how do you not complete a pass in the second half and you still won the game? I don't know. Got me, dude. Got me. But
I don't know. I think I don't know. And the hard part for me is that I look at their offensive numbers. They're not elite. How is Saquon Barkley struggling to get touches in that offense? I don't know. How are you not able to get the ball to A.J. Brown? I don't know. Does this mean that when you are, what was Jalen Hurts, I think, was like 15 of 18 with 2 touchdowns in the first half, 0 of 8 in the second half. So you go from Johnny Unitas to Johnny Manziel. See, full circle.
See what he did there.
I don't understand it. I can't put, and I see a lot of people in their power rankings this week putting the Eagles number 1. Yeah, I can't be that guy. I want to. I think I saw far too much out of the Chiefs. And yes, of course, I worry about them not being able to run the ball. But I think the biggest issue I see out of the Eagles is they don't produce in the middle 8, right? I mean, that end of the first half, start of the second half, I think is just so critical to winning football games. And they routinely do not put that together, which worries me. And I think Jalen Hurts has too many instances where he just goes to sleep. So I put the Chiefs 1. I actually put the Bills 2, because I think Josh Allen and James Cook are too big a part of the offense. And it really worries me when they get into tough, tight situations. Josh Allen's going to run the ball. And one of these times he's not going to get up. And that scares me. I would love to see the Bills come up with a package where Josh Allen can reliably throw the ball to James Cook, or, that one play where Knox or Schultz, or like where they have that one play that they can go to and it works every time. They don't have that. And it really is on the ball, and it scares me.
Yeah, I think for me, what's hard with the Chiefs is, like, I agree that was a great performance against the Ravens, but the problem is I don't know how much stock to put into the Ravens. I mean, they just have not been that same team this year, and it was, I mean, the Chiefs dominated them in that game, and theoretically you'd be like, yeah, I mean, that, the Chiefs are back. Like, that's the question. Are the Chiefs back? And it's like, yeah, they were back for 1 week, but now I need to understand, okay, well, how much of that was the Ravens and how much of that was the Chiefs? Because I know for a fact that Xavier Worthy being back really opens their offense up and allows the tight ends to work a lot more. So that dynamic is certainly at play, but at the same time, like, if you put the Chiefs on the road in Philly, let's say, like, Philly's beat the Chiefs one time this year, but Philly's not really playing good football right now. So I hesitate to say that Philly is better than the Chiefs, even though they've beaten them one time this year. If you had that matchup again, in Philly, I think that'd be a hell of a football game.
Well, and I still default to the idea that Andy Reid's a superior offensive mind. And if we're going to talk about best teams, we got to talk about the coaches of those teams. So what scares me so much about putting the Bills up there, you have a defensive guy who I don't think knows shit from Shinola about offense.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking him. I am not taking the Ravens. Who's even in the discussion as the best team in the NFL? It is probably the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. And that's really it as far as the best team in the NFL. We can argue about whatever the hell that was from the Chargers. We can argue about whatever the hell that was from the Packers. Like, we can have those arguments all day long. I think people need to start talking about the Seattle Seahawks, because if I'm going to do the top 5 teams, I think I would go Chiefs, Bills, Eagles. And then I think I am probably putting the Rams 4th and the Seahawks 5th. And I think after that, it's probably a group that includes the Chargers, Packers, Lions, Bucks. Like, I'm not ready to anoint, like, so many people are on were on the Broncos bandwagon. Bo Nix is who we always thought he was. And you're just not, I have a hard time putting anybody above the Eagles, Chiefs, and Bills right now. I think it's them and everybody else.
Yeah, I don't agree. I agree with that take that it's those are probably the best 3 teams. in the league right now. I think, stats guy is going to sit here and say that, hey, well, I think the Eagles are like 8th in the league in average points per game right now, like 26, 27 a game that they score. So stats guy is going to sit here and say, oh, well, the Eagles are scoring a lot of points. Morty, what do you mean? And I'm just sitting here saying that the Eagles just have weird vibes right now. And I'm not saying that means they suck. I'm not saying that they're terrible. I'm not saying you're saying that at all. But like, I just think that when you watch these teams and you're like, yeah, who's playing good football? Who's not? What's the momentum like? What's the vibes like? How many AJ Brown apology videos are we getting this week for his outburst on the sideline? Like, like how many times are we going to talk about Travis Kelce fighting with Andy Reid on the sideline? Like, you see the swings in emotion.
Yep.
So I would probably go Bills, Chiefs, and then Eagles. But I think if the Chiefs show us, like, who do the Chiefs have this week? Let's see. Who the Chiefs been playing? They're playing Jacksonville. Oh, ye of Liam Cohen.
Who's actually playing really good football right now.
Cool.
I think the Jags are 3-1 and
yeah. And you're getting,
and they beat the Niners, Texans, and I can't remember who they played with. Panthers. And they've lost to the Bengals, who still have not traded for a quarterback.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of the other teams I think we need to wonder about is the Detroit Lions, because they haven't beaten a good team yet. And I think that's a huge question mark about that team. They beat that Packers, or they lost to that Packers team, who now doesn't look like a very good team. And so you're wondering to yourself, okay, well, the Lions beat the Bears, the Ravens, and the Browns, but is that an accomplishment? And now you start looking ahead on their schedule, the Bengals. I mean, if you're a really good team, I don't care if it's in Cincinnati, you're going to put them in the ground. And what is that? I think that's one of the early games this week. And then they have the Chiefs. And that Chiefs game's at Arrowhead.
Sunday night.
On the 12th on Sunday Night Football. I think that's probably when we figure out who the Lions are, right? Because then after that, they go Buccaneers, Vikings, at Commanders, at Eagles, Giants, Packers, Cowboys. And that takes you to December. But I don't necessarily buy into what the Lions are laying down. I mean, I look at their offense. Their offense isn't overly impressive. I think their offensive line has not been nearly as good. They've really relied more and more. They've relied on, in my opinion, running the football. Their biggest plays have to be on the ground. And I don't know why that is right now. It just feels like they haven't. You have new coordinators, so you probably haven't hit your stride yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions look like about 3/4 of the team the Chiefs are right now. Because, like, if you look at the Ravens game, right, you win that game 38-30, and, the Chiefs put 40 on them, right, and held them down. So, like, you allowed the Ravens to score 30 in that game. You obviously handled the Browns, which nobody's surprised by. You'll handle the Bengals, like you said, and then see again. This is what I mean. We're gonna start to figure out who some of these teams are. Like, I understand. Like, I see comments about, like, 4-0 Eagles, 4-0 Bills, like only unbeaten.
But that doesn't mean
it just doesn't mean. Yeah, it just doesn't mean a whole lot to me right now, because again, I just think that you're just starting out. I mean, that's the first quarter of the season, and we're starting to get into a situation where I would agree. Like, the Lions are going to have to figure out, can they run the ball against the best teams in the NFL? Or are you just able to run the ball against some of these more mid-level teams? Because again, I know it sounds crazy, but the Ravens have been that. You're 1-3 for a reason.
They're terrible.
You haven't been good. So
and I just continue to go back to this. I've covered this league for 25 years. What you do in September, essentially all you're doing is building a runway, and the best teams take off in October. And then by the time we get to November, you have a real idea who's good and who's not. And I just look at the dysfunction in Philadelphia. That's going to be one of two things. We were working out the kinks early in the year. Look at us now. or, oh boy, that was really dysfunctional. And now we know why the Eagles have lost 4 straight or 5 of 7, or that's what, like, again, I think the Packers feel that way. I think Detroit feels that way. I think the only 2 teams who don't feel that way are Kansas City and Buffalo. And the thing about Kansas City is they came right back to life to who they've been for 5 years. You got speed, you went over the top, like,
yep.
That to me felt like a lot more of who the Chiefs have been. I just don't know what to make. Like the teams in the NFC North, I don't even know who's good and who's not. The Bears, you don't have to look any further than my Bears. Like, I mean, you're all over the goddamn place.
Yeah,
we've been good, we've been terrible, we've been okay, we've been not
Who's
okay.
Who's going to show up? That's your only question. Which team we getting?
Making another change at tackle, like it's just what this team is. So I don't know the exact answer to that. But it just feels like we're a long way. Now at the bottom of this league, oh no, I know who the worst teams in this league are. I think the 5 worst teams in this league are the Carolina Panthers, in my opinion, are on the cusp. I think the Titans, you're right, Cam, your ass. The Titans are terrible. That is a bad football team top to bottom.
We keep it a book right now, we ass.
Yeah. The New Orleans Saints are just a bad X's and O football team. They're bad, period. I don't know how you explain that. I think the Dolphins are a really bad football team. And now without Tyreek Hill, you're not fast. And I think the Carolina Panthers, it's the Carolina Panthers or the Jets, and I vacillated.
Oh, I think I feel strongly it's the Jets, dude. I think
you feel strongly it's the Jets.
I think that this was supposed to be a year where you got new coordinators, new head coach, Justin Fields. Like, this was supposed to be like, hey, we may not be going to the playoffs, but we're going to at least be competitive this year. We're going to be at least a little better this year. And you're 0-4, and you lose this week, you're the first Jets coach in history to go 0-5. So, you're on the cusp of doing things that have never been done in the worst way possible. And that's why, for me, I have the Jets as the worst team in the league right now.
I think there's a couple of things that stand out to me. The Jets are beating themselves. I think you can fix that. I don't know. That team takes a lot of penalties. I don't know if you
13
can
this week, I believe it was.
I don't know if you can fix that. That you need some roster trim and turnover with the Jets. Carolina's already been through that process, and they still suck. I look at the Jets. You can coach out fumbling the football. Justin Fields is actually playing decent football. They're explosive. They're fast. They're really talented. I just happen to believe that they need time to go through this process. And I don't think, and again, who am I? But when Justin Fields is completing 65% of his passes, which is a shockingly good number, as a Bears fan, trust me when I tell you, that's a really good development year. The problem is he's got more sacks, 5, than he does receiving or passing touchdowns, 2. But what hasn't he done? He hasn't turned the football over. And I think that's huge. I think you look at the Braylon Allen fumble was debilitating, but Breece Hall's averaging 4.6 yards a carry, and he's got no touchdowns. Justin Fields is averaging 7.4 yards a carry with 3 touchdowns and 1 fumble. He's not turning the football over. Breece Hall's not turning the football over. The biggest issue is you have not found a way to throw the football effectively, and I think it's because their route running sucks. You can fix that. I think their defense, and this is what separates them from a team like Dallas. We know who that Dallas defense is. They're not going to be good. They're going to have to win games 56-55. The Jets defense is fast, and I think they can fix a lot of the problems. I think the Jets are better than Carolina. That's my personal opinion. If you want to
I sure hope so, bro.
If you want to interchange them, totally get it. You can do that. Totally understand it. You're not fixing the Dolphins. You're not fixing the Saints or the Titans. I think the Jets are actually fixable.
What do you make of the Giants and Jackson Dart?
Somebody's going to have to teach Jackson Dart how to throw the football because wow. The Red Sox dropped a fly ball and the Yankees take the lead. Unbelievable. Aaron Judge hits a flare out to shallow left. A guy, and what do I always say about guys? Why did you dive? Because you didn't need to dive. And I need to see the replay. But the left fielder in Boston just dove for a ball that he did not need to dive for, and he dropped it.
How did he drop that?
Dude.
Yeah, he just missed it. Just absolutely missed it.
Straight up. And I'm watching the replay right now, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. And again, if you don't know who Jaron Duran is, he's a stud. And he just dropped it. I don't know why he dove for it, Jake. Now the Yankees are up 3-2.
He missed it because in the process of diving, he basically over pursued it. It hit him in the heel of the glove and not instead of the pocket, and that's why he missed it. So
RBI for Judge? No, it will not be an RBI
that'll
for
be an
Judge.
error.
That's an error.
Yeah, that's an error.
That is not an RBI. Dude that abides. I love the Monty boys. Best Showgram on the tube, but thou shalt not slander the Lions. How have I slandered the Lions? You can drag them for facts, but making fabrications or spouting ignorance. What
are you talking about, ignorance? Dude? What are you talking about? Like, how about you make actual references to something we've said, dude? Like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
How am I slandering the Lions?
Yeah, like what the hell does that mean?
What have I said about the Lions that is factually inaccurate?
Like, is it factually inaccurate to say that the Lions have played 4 teams and they lost to the only good team that they played, and now that very same team fell on their face? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, they haven't really played a good team yet.
I think that's the single biggest problem.
Yeah, and again, it's not to say that it's not to say that they suck. Like I said, I think they're a really good team. I think they're the best team in the division right now, without a doubt. But yeah, like, you gotta show us you can run the ball against a good defense. Like the one defense you did play, who was playing good at the time, you got that ass beat. You put up 13 points and couldn't run the football. So Jared Goff got sacked multiple times because you couldn't run the football.
You understand that Jameson Williams? You understand that Jameson Williams only has 10 catches and he's only been targeted 20 times. Like I'll just continue to stand on business. That team has got to learn to spread the football around. And until they do,
but they can't do that until they run the football properly. Like, you're not just going to stand back there and pass the football against good teams, because they're going to come after you and you don't have a guy that can run around and alleviate that. So again, I disagree. I don't think we've slandered them at all. I think they're the best team.
Amon-Ra has 32 targets. J-Mo's got 20 and Laporta's got 21. And you understand that Jahmyr Gibbs has more targets than J-Mo Williams does. They're a one-trick pony on offense. And I don't think I've slandered the Lions at all. I think we have real questions about the Lions. I imagine St. Brown and Laporta getting the majority of the receptions. And it's not. That's the problem. Like, I think you throw it to Amon-Ra or you throw it to Gibbs. I think that's your offense. I mean, they have got to spread the football around. And the other thing that's crazy is the usage split between Gibbs and Montgomery is pretty significant. Gibbs has 15 more carries and only 30 more yards. It's wild to me. And you're looking at guys who average very similar numbers per game, 67 and 61. Gibbs is 67, Montgomery is 61. There's dysfunction on their offense, which I said you would expect with a new coordinator coming in. And yeah, I don't think that's slander at all. I think that's exactly what it is. And I think until they figure that out, again, are they building, did they build a runway in September to take off in October? We're going to find out because the Chiefs are coming. Joseph Harper, Seahawks win. They have to be top 5. If they win this week, I think that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think the NFC North is a mess. Until the Packers figure out what they are or who they are. I mean, is this not what we talked about in the preseason with the NFC North? I think they are 100% the chameleons we thought they were. You look at the Vikings, Bears, and Packers are all essentially 2-2. Like, you put that tie down as a loss, they're all 2-2, and the Lions are 3-1. And you know what the biggest issue is? The Lions are not nearly the best defense in that division. And crazily, they've scored 137 points, and they're the best offense in that division and arguably the best offense in the NFL, and they're still dysfunctional. So, I mean, I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But I think it's very interesting to see where all of this ends up playing out, because I still think they have a propensity to give up big plays. But that's who the Lions have been the last 3 years. It's what I'm looking at the NFC offensive numbers. The Dallas Cowboys have a significantly better offense than the Philadelphia Eagles, the Packers, the Rams, the Buccaneers. And do you know that it is not even close? That the Dallas Cowboys are the worst defense pretty much next to the Ravens in the NFL. How is that possible? The Ravens have given up more points than the Cowboys. You figure it out, because I can't.
The habit of giving up 40 a week.
You can't. You figure it out. That to me is wild. That is. We'll see. All right, couple of non-sports stories I want to get to. So remember, everybody said, "Oh, Jimmy sucks. Nobody cares." Disney lost 1.7 million subscribers to Disney Plus because of Jimmy Kimmel and benching Jimmy Kimmel. Jake, he doesn't have any ratings though, right?
No, he's terrible. I mean, he's garbage. He's untalented. He has no ratings. Nobody watches him. And, I mean, come on. Why would and the Red Sox just homered to tie the game.
Wow.
Awesome, dude. Thanks, bro.
There's Trevor's story.
Anyway.
Boy, is that a bad pitch.
Yeah,
that is a bad pitch.
I think
hold on. Pitch selections, you guys understand. 9 times out of 10, it's not the pitch you call, it's where the pitcher locates it. And you look at this, Rodon. I don't even know how do you make a pitch that's this bad? I asked Shota for the Cubs today, because his bomb to Manny was a terrible pitch. But when did we stop making really good major league pitchers? Am I the only one who feels like we're putting kids through so much at the lower level that they get to the majors and they can only pitch 5 innings?
Well, they can only pitch 5 innings because of how hard they throw now. They're not. I firmly believe that.
God, that's a terrible pitch.
That you're not going to see guys doing, 7 innings, 120 pitches for a usual outing anymore, because of how hard they throw. They can't withstand the wear and tear. It's just too much to ask. So now we get, gas cans for 5 innings, and you just do what you can.
Your 6th inning ERAs in Major League Baseball are, oh man, that was down the dick. Oh my God. 95 mile an hour fastball to a fastball hitter and he lost it. Like, this is, oh my God.
Yeah, he put a great swing on that ball.
Well, that's all Trevor Story does is hit fastballs. And that ball was straight, and it was straight right down the middle. Red Sox got to put 3-4 on the board here because Rodon just walked Bregman as well. So, unbelievable.
Anyway.
Unbelievable. Dude that abides. I love the chess game within the baseball game. Broadcast baseball doesn't show the chess game effectively. It does not.
Well, and I think that they're lowering the chess game in baseball. The pitch clock, the limit on how many times you can throw over, like, you know, the rule about having your pitcher face 3 hitters. Like, I hate it.
Yeah, man, that's wild. I never watched Kimmel until now. Now I watch his monologue. He's funny sometimes. No, he's not. He's funny. He's not talented. He's unfunny. He's not. Anyway, it's wild to me how much money ABC's knee bend to Donnie cost the company. I mean, it is. And now Kimmel was on Colbert. And this is the momentum you're starting to see now. These late night guys are banding together. And it's floating their ratings up, frankly. It's a little surprising. I thought Jimmy would have a huge return and then his ratings would go right back down. He's doing well over 1.2 million viewers more than he was. And that's on broadcast TV. I don't think Disney ever recovers the subscribers they lost over this. I think it was a huge mistake.
It's a lot to expect.
I would agree with that. And I mean, I don't watch late night TV because I'm in bed by 4:00 in the afternoon. And it is remarkable to me how much this Jimmy Kimmel thing galvanized this country. And this defense of the First Amendment, I'm telling you, and I know I said this a couple of weeks ago when this was going on, this defense of the First Amendment is going to galvanize people. And now you look at this government shutdown, and the Democrats are not smart. They're not good politicians. They're not good operators. They don't message well. But they would let the Republicans walk right into this pothole because the Republicans are now messaging, oh, they shut the government down because they want illegals to have health insurance. Well, it turns out the Democrats were waiting for that because now what's all the messaging? Well, we've never asked for illegals to have health care. In fact, it's illegal. And the Republicans are like, well, they don't have an answer. I think they thought the Democrats would just fold on this. This government shutdown, the crux of it is the Medicare, Medicaid cuts that went into the big, beautiful bill. It has nothing to do with the illegal, the idea that Democrats want illegals to have taxpayer subsidized health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's nowhere on paper. What the Democrats are doing here is trying to fight the fight to undo a lot of the big, beautiful bill. That's what's happening here. What else is happening? We're not talking about the Epstein files. This is a win for Donnie. This shutdown, what has Donald Trump said? I am going to lay off workers. I'm going to blame it on the Democrats. And Donald Trump wants to drag this shutdown on, I think, for months. Because then they're not talking, they're not in session. They're not talking about the Epstein files. This Democrat won a seat. They won't swear her in because that would put the Epstein vote over the top for the Democrats. This plays perfectly into the Trump arsenal. And I think it is wildly irresponsible because it means our troops are not going to get paid. It means federal employees are not going to get paid. But who gets paid during the shutdown? All the Congress people, all the senators, all the White House people.
Well, but the military stops working, right? They stop putting their life on the line, right?
Nope. No, they don't.
Oh.
And their benefits and their salaries get cut. And we love this thing about, oh, well, we love American workers. Well, then pay them during the shutdown. Oh, you can't. You can't pay them. Because what happened at midnight last night? The fiscal year ended. The federal government fiscal year ended. That's why you needed this. And the Republicans today are out messaging, well, we had a clean bill that would have extended. You didn't have a clean bill because this isn't about just extending the status quo. The Democrats are going to use this shutdown to illuminate the Medicare, Medicaid dismantling essentially at the big, beautiful bill did.
And by the way, if you have a clean bill, how are you not able to pass it? You control both.
Yeah.
If everyone's in favor, what are we even talking about?
Well, and the thing that is so amazing is all this tape now of Donnie talking about how government shutdown are the president's fault. The bottom line is the Republicans have the White House and both chambers, and we're still in a shutdown.
It's not on the Democrats.
and you had 3 Democrats come to your side of the line, and we're still in a government shutdown. All this says to you is this government is completely inoperable. It is dysfunctional.
It's incompetent.
The Democrats are ridiculous. The Republicans are ridiculous. Trump's people are ridiculous. This is not what we need as a country. We need to help our farmers. We need to help our military members. We need to, like this Hegseth thing yesterday. Why are we're worried about all this other DEI stuff that never impacted anything in the military? And if you want to spend more money, if you want to be Ronald Reagan and ramp up the military, knock yourself out. I'm all for it. But this has nothing to do with standing in front of an entire room full of your military leaders that you assembled, pulled them off station to bring them to Quantico to talk about how the LGBTQ community and women will no longer be allowed to serve on the front lines. Let them do their job. Yet the next day, less than 12 hours later, we're shutting the government down. I'm amazed by it. The dysfunction in the United States government that has been going on for generations will never be fixed.
It is a shit show.
We'll never fix it. It is always going to be divisive. It's always going to be a fight about how to keep rich people rich and poor people poor. That's who we have been as a society for generations. And yet we want to distract with all this other stuff. That's all this is. So when you look at the Jimmy Kimmel thing and the First Amendment fight, it's all related. Why did Donald Trump have his FCC attack ABC and CBS to distract? Why are we in a government shutdown for what I think is probably going to be 6-7 weeks? Because they want to not be able to deal with the Epstein files. The very fact that we're talking about Epstein files still and they're not released is exactly what's always been wrong with our government. We can never get anything done. And we're trying to, one of the main fights for the Democrats is extend the coverage that Obamacare provided. Okay, you don't want to do that if you're a Republican. Great. Put something else in place that gives people health insurance, that gives access. We are the only major modern society in the world who doesn't give we're sitting getting I got my microchip injection last night.
Yeah, you sheep.
We're sitting at CVS in downtown Seattle with these 2 young people who I don't even know where they were from, but they're like, yeah, it's going to be $270 for me to get a COVID shot.
The coronavirus.
Because the cat doesn't have insurance. $270 to get a COVID vaccine. What are we doing?
Nothing good.
What are we doing? I have no idea. I'll never understand it. It just is. It's wild to me. Greg Hawkins, I'm still so pissed off. You should be. The Cubs are terrible.
Yeah.
That was bad management by Craig. Shota Imanaga should have started the game today. And you should have had Colin Ray ready to go as his backup. And now you're in a situation where I just don't believe for the Cubs that Cade Horton is hurt to the point where he can't pitch. I don't know why they don't want to pitch him. My guess is they're worried about keeping him healthy. The Cubs are well aware they're not a World Series team. They're probably not even an NLCS team.
No.
I think at best they can beat the Padres, but they won't win a division series, in my opinion.
Now they're a 6-game division series team, losing 6 division series team.
Because it's going to be Milwaukee they would run into.
Yeah.
And I am amazed. I am amazed that we're going to get Jameson Taillon starting an elimination game for the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. And they're going to throw you Darvish. And this is a 92-win team that's going to be out of the season's going to end tomorrow. And the Cubs will say, well, we went back to the postseason for the first time. Who cares? Bro, who cares? You should have gone much further, but you didn't want to spend money.
Yep.
That's essentially what it came down to.
So, yes, you should be pissed off.
You should. I totally agree. Chewy Gonzalez, the U.S. government is dysfunctional as the Bears offense. Oh, it's worse than the Bears offense. And I didn't think the U.S. government is more dysfunctional than the Chicago Bears as an organization. That's where I would have gone.
Yeah.
I mean, just this idea, you guys, this idea that we're sending the National Guard into cities to prove a point, and you have mayors, like Portland's a great example of this. You have the mayor and the police chief, or excuse me, the chief of the police bureau, talking about how the video that Donald Trump talked about to send the National Guard to Portland is from 2020, the BLM riots. 2020, he used a video and said, look at what Portland is. That video is 5 years old. And the chief of police in Portland was like, we don't have those problems. He's like, he's going to do, and this is where we are. The mayor said he's trying to do to Portland what he did to LA. They're going to send in the National Guard to patrol 1 square block, and they're going to make a bunch of videos about how they've cleaned up the entire city for 1 square block, like they did in LA. And then what did they do in LA and DC? They had them clean up trash and say, look how beautiful the city is now. We accomplished our goal. The National Guard can go home now. Never mind that those guardsmen were not paid. Not paid. And now, when they deploy them, none of those military staff will be paid.
So that's why they'll deploy them.
What are we doing? What are we doing? We're like deploying the military. And Donald Trump sits up there yesterday and tells a congregation of all of his military leaders, we're going to have you practice in American cities. What are we doing? Do you guys want that? I don't want that. Do you want that? I don't.
No.
Gabriel, housing prices, gas prices, food price. I mean, look, housing prices predated Donnie, but have not gotten better. They've gotten worse. I think the job stuff, the tariff stuff, the oil stuff.
Just look at the state of the country, bro. Like, you can pick any one issue, but look at the state of the country. The overwhelming sentiment in the country is not good. Like, it's just not. And that's, I don't know, bro. I don't know if it improves or if he somehow finds a way to win the midterms. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm just telling you, it's not good right now.
If the Republicans lose the midterms, we're in real trouble because we're going to have 2 years of nothingness. If the Republicans lose the midterms.
But what do we have now?
Nothing. We have a government that's shut down. That's what we have now. I don't know how you fix it. Right?
I mean, somehow it sounds like the Democrats, winning the midterms is somehow an improvement over having no government currently.
Donald Trump talked about how he's got the strongest dollar. I don't know if you guys saw the dollar decline is just. And listen, if you're going to Europe, that's probably a good thing for you. But the dollar decline right now. Today was not a good day. We lost 32,000 jobs in September. And I'm looking at the dollar numbers like.
Well, that's all fake news, Monty. That's the good news. It's all fake. It doesn't matter.
Donald Trump stood outside the White House 4 days ago now and said a weak dollar is better for him. Well, you just ran on the fact that you have the strongest dollar ever. It's crazy. Anyway, all right. Appreciate all of you. As always, the Monty Show presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. I'm telling you, you guys get in an accident, get to the Advocates 24/7, 365. You don't pay a penny out of pocket. because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.